On day 1, I spawned in and ate my way out of a giant pumpkin as a fat dragon with 10 hearts. It looks like I'm way chunkier than the average dragon. It's okay though, because it's what's on the inside that counts. But my thoughts were interrupted by a huge fireball hitting the ground next to me. I managed to dodge it just in time and looked up to see a huge fire dragon floating in the sky above me.
Sup, Tubby? What are you doing on my turf? You know this is Chad's place. Who? Chad's the best.
Hey, don't call me mean names. And who's this Chad guy?
I'm Chad, and I rule. And when I'm flying around here, taking selfies for my red-hot fire dragon Insta, I don't want your goofy butt sitting in my background, killing my vibe.
But, you can't just call me names and kick me out.
Yeah I can. I'm Chad the fire dragon. I'm number 1. You aren't the first loser I've chased out of here, and you won't be the last, baby. It's fire time!
Chad the fire dragon blasted another fireball at me. I dodged again in the nick of time and flapped my wings, flying off into the air and escaping Chad's fire.
Yeah, that's right. You better run. Nobody messes with Chad. Ugh.
When I'd escaped Chad, I landed for a bit to breathe and calmed myself down. That guy was a major jerk. Why would you be mean to someone just because of what they look like? He must be evil. My thoughts were interrupted by a big angry dread beast who thought I looked like a filling snack. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. All I could do was fly off before the dread beast pounced at me. This world doesn't seem too kind. I need to make things better around here before everyone hates on each other. On day 2, I landed somewhere that looked a little safer. At least here, nobody would start attacking me for no reason. I need a roof over my head before I can do anything else. Maybe it's time to build myself a fat dragon base. I used some of my natural dragon strength to break down a few trees. It wasn't long before I had enough wood to make myself a wooden pickaxe and a crafting table. Then I used my wooden pickaxe to dig up some stone and create a stone sword and a stone pickaxe. This is exactly what I need to build a base. But first, I need to get myself a sweet treat. I've had a hard couple of days. I've earned it. I flew off to a nearby area and found a delicious looking cake just laying around. The perfect treat. But then, a dread ghoul jumped out of the shadows and started laughing.
My fiendish plan worked. I knew that a cake would attract a perfect fat little victim, and I was right.
Oh, come on! Why is everyone here so judgmental?
It's the way of the world, fat dragon. And now you've fallen for my trap. You're all mine.
But before the dread ghoul could pounce, I flew away again, all the way back to my base to enjoy my cake. Wait, I got so distracted by the cake that I didn't even start my base. When I landed, I used my stone pickaxe and collected more resources and started building myself a basic base. At least it would give me somewhere to stay at the end of the day. I should work on a kitchen next. On day 3, I decided that I needed to make my base a little bigger. I wasn't the tiniest dragon out there after all, and I needed the base to be roomy to be comfortable in it. So I flew off to a new location to collect more resources. Of course, it wasn't going to be as easy as I'd hoped, because nothing seems to be easy around here. The second I landed, there was an angry-looking dread knight waiting for me.
Avest! Thou art a hefty dragon, forsooth! Alack, 'tis a battle! A battle, good sir.
I literally don't understand anything you're saying, but I still feel like you're being mean to me.
Thou art correct. Battle me, knave.
I was really upset about being called mean names again, probably. So this time, I was ready to engage in battle. I attacked him with my stone sword until the Dread Knight gave up and moved away.
Thou doth won this time, dragon, but next time I will have my revenge, forsooth.
Stop saying forsooth. It doesn't make you sound cool or smart. It's just weird. With that, the Dread Knight ran away. Moments later, a different figure emerged, a big black hippogriff. Oh no, are you gonna say mean things about my weight too?
What? Heavens no! I'd never dream of judging someone based on their appearance. That's a total Chad the Dragon move. I'm Buck the Hippogriff.
Wait, Chad the Dragon? You know that guy?
Huh, I wish I didn't. He's so conceited. If he was made of cake, he'd probably eat himself. Talk about a selfish meanie.
Oh, speaking of cake, I have some back in my base. Come join me, we can share it together. I'm Zozo, by the way.
Finally, someone kind around here. You seem hungry already. I'll let you have some of my fish. And let's go, Zozo.
I'd made my first friend, and we started back to my base. Things were finally looking up for me. From day 4 to day 5, I returned to my base with Buck the Hippogriff. It felt nice to have someone who was so kind in a world that had been so mean to me. Let's build you a room, Buck. Something that really suits your awesome personality.
You're too kind, Zozo.
You were kind to me first. This is just me getting even. I started expanding my base, creating a nice new room for Buck to stay in. I even made it with an open roof so he could fly out and explore anytime he wanted.
This is an awesome room, Zozo. I'm so happy that I met you. You're the coolest fat dragon I've ever seen.
You're doing a lot to help boost my confidence, Buck. I love it. But our wholesome friendship moment was interrupted by a bunch of death worms slithering out of the ground towards me. Oh no, I need to do something about this before it ruins my whole base. I ran in and started battling the death worms. Lucky for me, in the battle of worms versus dragons, dragons normally win, and this was no exception. And once the worms were defeated, they dropped some delicious apples onto the ground. Apples and worms. It doesn't normally go that way around. I stashed the apples into my inventory and went back to my base, where Buck the Hippogriff and I could hang out. With the death worms taken care of, I could work on expanding and improving my base.
Yes.
First, I need to make sure I have a fixed source of food, breakfast especially. I'd love some eggs. That's why I built a coop and some fences, then collected a few chickens and let them live inside. Free range, of course, because that's the kindest way to do it. It'll make the eggs taste better too. But while I was out searching for more chickens to add to my teeny tiny chicken farm, I saw the last thing I ever wanted to see, Chad the Fire Dragon. He was flying right above me, looking just as mean and arrogant as ever.
Ugh, what are you doing here, Chubby? Didn't the Chadmeister tell you that you need to get off the overworld? Maybe go to the Nether. That's where all the other weird, ugly beasts hang out. Nice one, Chad.
You can't nice one your own joke, Chad. It doesn't work like that.
Chad can do anything that Chad likes. He's the best. I mean, I'm the best. Whatever. Look at what I can do.
Suddenly, Chad started growing even bigger and stronger than before. He made even his old self look small. Oh no, you're so huge. How?
I've been getting some extra reps in at the gym. It's making me real swole. You'd know this if you followed my fire insta. Like I said, instead, you're gonna deal with my fire. Fire!
Chad blasted an even bigger fireball at me. There was no way I could fight him like this. I needed to just get out of here. I flew off as fast as I could, just hoping that Chad wouldn't follow me. Getting rid of him was going to be a lot harder than I thought. From day 9 to day 10, I sat in my room at my base, feeling terrible about all the things Chad said to me and how much stronger he was than me. How can I ever expect to stop him from being so horrible to everyone if I can't even stop him from being horrible to me? Buck the Hippogriff seemed to sense that I was upset and came in to comfort me.
Zozo, I'm so sorry about all those terrible things that Chad said to you. For what it's worth, he's only like that because deep down, he's so insecure about himself. He wishes he had the kind of confidence you have.
Those are kind words, Buck, and they do make me feel a little better. I just feel bad that I wasn't able to defeat him.
Maybe what you need is a little inspiration. Go look out into the yard and see a little something I've been working on for you.
I ran outside and saw that Buck had been working on a statue. It looked incredible, but it was early enough that I couldn't quite tell what it was yet. Wow, this is amazing. What do you think it's gonna be when it's done? Let me know down in the comments. Buck came up to me again. Amazing work, Buck. I love the statue. What's it going to be?
I couldn't give that away. And besides, there's something else you should see. I built you a base upgrade.
I looked back at my base and saw that Buck had built me a storage room. The perfect place to store all of our weapons and supplies. Buck, you're the best friend I've ever had. From day 11 to day 12, I decided it was time to rest and recover from the stressful last few days. After all, it's important to take care of yourself and take time off now and then. But while I was sleeping, I started having the strangest dreams. I dreamed of how Chad the Fire Dragon was first created. He crawled out of lava, deep underground, a dragon of pure fire.
Whoa, I'm a dragon of pure fire. This is crazy. I think I'm gonna call myself Chad. Yeah, that feels like a good name for me.
But everyone was afraid of Chad because he was so big and so dangerous because of his fire powers. Chad felt bad about everyone being afraid of him, so to cover up how bad he felt, he decided to pretend he was confident in a completely over-the-top way.
The Chadster's #1! Huh.
But because Chad's confidence wasn't real, he could only protect it one way, by being mean to others, putting them down to make himself feel better.
Everyone is dumb and ugly except me. Oh yeah, Chad is awesome, and I'm Chad, baby.
Chad developed such a reputation for being rude and mean, nobody would tell him to stop. And as the years went on, he only got more powerful. Needless to say, it was a really weird dream, but I definitely felt like I knew more about Chad afterwards. I just wish I knew how I could use it against him. From day 13 to day 15, I decided I needed to settle a few old scores to improve my confidence. This fat dragon was through with running away. That's why I flew back to where it all started, to face the dread beast that thought I was an easy snack. Now I was going to show him that fighting me was going to be anything but easy. I landed right next to the dread beast, ready to battle, with the stone sword at the ready. Let's go, dread beast. We'll see who's really feeling the dread when I'm done. The dread beast ran at me, but I didn't budge. I fought back. And this time, I won! And with the XP I got from winning, I leveled up into a bigger, tougher, fatter dragon! Chad is gonna think twice about messing with me now. I've got an entire 30 hearts and a brand new weapon, Dragon Claws! I took to the skies, happier than I'd felt in a long time. From day 16 to day 19, feeling encouraged by all my progress lately, I decided it was time to treat myself to a gear upgrade. I found a nearby mine and went underground, digging until I found some iron ore. Perfect! This is exactly what I needed! But I wasn't alone in the mine, because the perfect opposite of a fat dragon was down there waiting for me. A bunch of human skeletons! At least they don't have enough tongue to make any mean jokes about me. I defeated the skeletons, then used my iron ore to smelt and craft an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Looks like my fighting and mining skills have just leveled up. Chad is gonna feel so jealous about this when he finds out. With all my new gear, I went back to my base, feeling better than ever. From day 20 to day 22, I was rudely awakened by Buck storming into the room.
Zozo! Zozo! You need to wake up right now! Something terrible is happening!
Terrible? Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
Quite the opposite, actually. It's terrible! Chad, the fire dragon, is waiting for you outside. I think he wants to fight.
I got up and ran outside as quickly as I could. And just like Buck had told me, Chad the fire dragon was waiting.
Hey, jabroni, it's the Chadmeister, Chadageddon, the Central African nation of Chad. And as usual, I'm happy to hand you a big steaming plate of humiliation, baby.
You may be a fire dragon, Chad, but I think you're just full of hot air. Are you really saying all this stuff about yourself because you believe it, or because you want to believe it?
Ooh, look at you, Mr. Big Tubby Head Shrinker. You think you understand the Chadster's brain? The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. You could never even hope to understand what I'm about, and I'm actually super duper confident. You're just way too much of a loser to get that.
Sounds like you're not that sure of yourself.
I so am! Let's fight, doofus!
We charged at each other and began battling. He blew fire at me, but with my new strength since our last battle, I was able to take the heat. That's when I showed him my new claws, swiping at him again and again. He seemed so shocked that I was really fighting back that he broke away from the fight and started to fly off.
I didn't really want to fight you that time anyway. Smell you later, fat dragon!
It wasn't exactly a true victory, but I'd seen the first crack in Chad's confidence. Maybe I can beat him after all. From day 23 to day 26, I decided that I needed to treat myself to a new enchantment for all my hard work, surviving my first true fight with Chad. Given how much he'd helped me so far, I asked Buck what he thought I should do.
Seeing as you got yourself an iron sword a while back, maybe you should apply the sharpness enchantment. Who knows? It might even make your claws more powerful.
That's a great idea, Buck. You're always looking out for me. On Buck's suggestion, I crafted and applied the sharpness enchantment. All my weapons were a lot more effective after that. From day 27 to day 31, I got more good news from Buck.
Zozo, come take a look. I've been doing some more work on the statue, and I think you're going to love it.
Ah, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see. I ran out and took a look at the statue. It wasn't done yet, but it was coming along so well. Buck really had a gift for making statues. This looks amazing, Buck. I can't wait to see what it'll be when it's done.
That's actually something I wanted to talk to you about, Zozo. The statue is coming along great, but it needs something else. Think you can go get some for me?
No problem, Buck. I'll set off immediately. Buck told me what he needed and sent me off to the west. I headed out with my iron pickaxe, ready to mine like my life depended on it. It didn't take me long to find the blocks that Buck needed, but there was a wither there waiting for me. Nothing is ever easy around here. I took a few wither skulls, but soon managed to use my claws to turn the tide of the battle. Once the wither was gone, I mined the blocks and went back to my base. Buck was waiting for me. Here, Buck, take these.
Thanks, Zozo. This is exactly what I needed.
From day 32 to day 35, I went out exploring again, wanting to increase my strength and confidence. If there were any quests for me to take, I'd be happy to take them. But my confidence was shaken a little by a huge creeper spider suddenly skittering towards me. This is not how I wanted to spend today. I ran away as the creeper spider exploded, taking out a bunch of blocks beneath it, but thankfully not me. Creepers are one of those problems that take care of themselves. While I was wandering around the explosion-scarred area, I saw another strange creature, a rabbit wolf, hopping around and looking worried. Are you okay, Miss Rabbit Wolf?
The truth is, no! Things are awful right now.
Awful? Oh no! What happened? Is there any way I could help?
My friend, the rabbit, was kidnapped by the Crimson Phantom. He's a local weirdo who thinks he's a supervillain. And if we don't save the rabbit soon, who knows what will happen?
We'll never have to find out. Wait here, I'm gonna go save your rabbit friend. And with that, I flew off, ready to become a hero. From day 36 to day 39, I arrived at the location where the wannabe supervillain, the Crimson Phantom, was holding the rabbit. He was every bit as weird as the wolf rabbit had told me.
It is I, the Crimson Phantom, the Lord of Darkness. I am the most powerful and evil villain in the overworld, and nothing will stop me from taking control. I'm #1.
But isn't Chad the fire dragon #1?
Oh no, Chad, is he here?
No, he's not here. I was just talking figuratively.
Phew, that's a relief. Almost lost my cool there.
Hearing all of that gave me an idea. The Crimson Phantom may not be afraid of me, but he was definitely afraid of our mutual enemy, Chad the fire dragon. Maybe Chad can be useful for once. From day 40 to day 43, I flew out towards the Crimson Phantom and the captured rabbit, trying to look as intimidating as possible. Both of them turned to look at me as I approached.
Begone, fat dragon, for I am the Crimson Phantom, the vilest villain in all of the overworld, and this rabbit belongs to me.
Fool! I work for his Chadness, Chad the Fire Dragon, and he is extremely displeased that you're out here, tarnishing his rad name.
Oh no, please tell his Chadness I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any offense. I'll do whatever he wants, I promise.
You'll give up the rabbit and let her go. His Chadness requests your presence.
Of course, Wait, Fat Dragon? Chad's been making fun of you on his Dragon Insta for weeks now. You're not with him, you're trying to trick me.
You can't blame me for trying. With my plan foiled, I attacked the Crimson Phantom with my powerful claws. Despite all his bragging, he was one of the easiest enemies I'd ever defeated.
You saved me. Thank you so much. I was worried I'd never get away from that awful villain.
Don't thank me, Rabbit. You've got a friend who cares a lot about you. As if on cue, the Rabbit Wolf hopped in.
Thank you for all you've done, Zozo. Here, take this potion of swiftness. It's the least I could do. You're a true hero.
Oh, stop it. You're gonna make me cry. From day 44 to day 49, I gave more materials to Buck the Black Hippogriff so he could continue work on the statue.
Great job, Zozo. You're really pulling your weight with this project.
I'll take that as a compliment, considering how much my weight is.
I mean it, buddy. You're a kind and reliable person. Anyone would be lucky to have you as a friend.
Thanks, Buck. Now I feel like $1,000,000.
There's only one me, Zozo. Just like there's only one you.
That's deep, but you knew what I meant. I let Buck continue working on the statue and realized that I was hungry. After all the quests I'd been doing, I had really worked up an appetite. It was time to add something to the base in order to help out with that. A proper kitchen. I'd craft a couple of cooking surfaces and shelves to store ingredients. That way, I'd be able to make the most nutritious meals when I was in the mood for food. It's like they always say, never trust a skinny cook and always trust a fat dragon cook. Once I had completed the kitchen, I went back to see how Buck was doing on the statue. It was starting to look even more like what it was supposed to be. I couldn't wait to see how it would look when it was done. From day 50 to day 53, I was minding my own business at the base when Chad the Fire Dragon decided to rear his big, overinflated head.
Oh, hey, Chubster. Still your lame, roly-poly self, I see. Lucky for you, the Chadmeister decided to take some time out of his busy Insta schedule to instigate a little one-on-one conflict.
Leave me alone already, Chad. I'll fight if I have to, but I didn't wake up this morning choosing violence.
Too bad, because Chad the Cool and Rad always chooses to dunk on losers. By the way, when I said one-on-one, I meant one-on-several, because I've brought my fans with me.
It was true. Chad had rolled up with a bunch of fire guardians who listened to everything he said. They must have been followers by nature. How is it fair to outnumber me, Chad? At least fight your own battles if you're gonna be a bully.
Well, sorry. There's so much of you to go around that I thought I should bring more guys. Get up, boys.
Chad's fire guardians tried to gang up on me, but I was a fighter now, so I shredded through them with my claws. I was so focused on the fight that I almost didn't see Chad and the other guardians kidnap Buck from the base.
Zozo, win that fight and come save me. I know you can.
Buck, how low does Chad want to go in order to ruin my life? I took down the rest of the attacking fire guardians like Buck said, and I felt my confidence rising. I grew larger and obtained 60 hearts. I could also breathe out a big blast of fire. Looks like Chad isn't the only one with fire around here. With that, I also set the front yard on fire. From day 54 to day 57, I spent some time putting out the fires left over from the attack on the base. They sure did set a big part of my base on fire, but it didn't bother me that much because I could easily extinguish it. Once I had extinguished the fire, I thought about the one thing I couldn't repair. I need to get Buck back. He always stuck up for me, so I want to do the same for him. I went to the desert to go visit Miss Rabbit Wolf. I knew a thing or two about friendship. And because I helped her rescue her friend not too long ago, she would probably help me rescue mine.
I'm so sorry that Buck got taken away by Chad's henchmen. I know exactly how that feels.
I want to do something about it, but I don't know where to begin.
Why don't you try checking the selfies that Chad posts? There's got to be something in the background that could help you find out where he's taken Buck.
That's a good idea. He posts pictures of where he is all the time. It should be easy to find his evil lair from that.
You can turn his false confidence into a real weakness.
Thanks, Rabbit Wolf. From day 58 to day 62, I went mining for diamonds so I could upgrade my tools. I'm a confident dragon, and I deserve to treat myself to nicer things. Of course, not everyone in the mine agreed with me on that point. There were a bunch of warped phantoms swarming around where I was trying to dig. I could use my fire breath to scatter them, but they'd always come back. This seems like more of a task for my claws. Can't a dragon mine in peace? Once I'd cleared out all the warped phantoms, I was able to gather a good amount of diamonds from the cave. I crafted a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe, both of which would come in handy when the time came for me to go rescue Buck from the clutches of Chad. From day 63 to day 66, I was looking at the unfinished statue and feeling sad that Buck couldn't be here. The two of us had been working together on the statue for a long time now, and seeing that it was unfinished was a reminder that without him, I'd never see what the statue could become. I thought about working on it myself, but that wouldn't do any good. Buck is counting on me to rescue him from Chad. I couldn't back down from facing that terrible bully. For now, the statue needs to wait. Hang on, Buck. I'm gonna find you, wherever you are. And if you want to find more of my awesome adventures, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you'll always be able to. From day 67 to day 70, I found a place that looked a lot like where Chad the Fire Dragon took many of his selfies. The Crimson Gardens were definitely red, like one might expect for a fire dragon, and there also seemed to be a huge lair designed to show off. That's gotta be Chad's pad. As I approached, I noticed that there were a bunch of fire guardians hanging around outside. My guess had to be correct, since those mobs would do anything for Chad's attention, including trying to keep me out of Chad's pad. I knew I was looking at a fight if I tried to get past them. Hey, you guys, is my friend inside there? The fire guardians said nothing and charged me all at once. I knew fire breath wouldn't do any good against creatures of pure fire, so I stuck to melee attacks. Thanks to my increased health, even fighting this many fire guardians wasn't much of a problem. It was true that I'd gotten even bigger and stronger since my other fight with Chad's minions. I'm not just fat, I'm large and in charge. I was able to battle my way through the inside of Chad's pad. I just knew my friend was in here somewhere. From day 71 to day 74, I explored Chad's pad and fought off more of the fire guardians as I did. This base is gigantic. Chad must really enjoy having a lot of space that he doesn't need, all to himself. While I was sneaking around, I saw Chad. He must have been finished taking selfies in a nearby room. Oh yeah, Chad rules! The camera loves Chad, and so does everyone else. And Chad! He seemed to be really into his routine at the moment, and it felt awkward to interrupt him. I came here to rescue Buck, not to pick a fight, so I just let him continue bigging himself up. Of course, I couldn't help myself from sneaking some potions of healing from one of his pad's chests. He won't miss it, and besides, he's hurt me enough times that one little potion is the least of what he'd need to do to make up for it. From day 75 to day 78, I managed to find the dungeon where Chad had been keeping Buck. It was time for a good old-fashioned prison break.
Zozo, you made it! I always knew you had it in you, friend.
Thanks, Buck. It was hard making it all the way here without your kind words, but I was still able to do it because I've got confidence in myself now. I used my fire breath to destroy the bars of the prison, setting Buck free.
Nicely done. Now let's get out of here. Whoa! Who said you could leave? Chad didn't. And if Chad didn't, it doesn't matter who did. Chad.
Oh no, it was Chad! There was only one thing I could think of to make sure that Buck would be safe from this kidnapping bully jerk. Get out of here, Buck. I'll catch up with you after Chad and I have a talk. With that, Buck ran off, leaving me alone to take on Chad.
Like Chad would talk to you for any reason other than reminding you that you're totally stupid looking.
Actually, I meant talk as in fight. Let's work things out like dragons with our claws and fire breath.
Can't get enough of Chad's fire breath? Okay, you asked for it.
Chad breathed his fire blast at me, but I returned with my own. He was surprised that I could do what he did, but that made sense because he always underestimated me. We started to fight with our claws, and even more than the previous time I was holding my own. I got several good hits in on him before he started to show a little bit of nervousness. What's the matter, Chad? Not able to pretend as well as you normally do?
As if Chad needs to pretend. I'm the real deal, lame-o. Check this out.
From day 79 to day 84, Chad flexed his dragon muscles and totally hulked out into a super beast of a dragon!
Oh yeah, Chad was already the best, but now you can say hello to the even better, super mega ultra deluxe Chadmeister Supreme!
Yikes! I didn't expect he'd have another form!
Chad totally could have beaten you in his regular form. Chad just didn't feel like it.
Right, so you transformed for absolutely no reason at all. I'm really not sure I believe you, but I'm also really afraid of your new form. I ran away as fast as I could. Behind me, I could hear Chad laughing and calling me more mean names. We would see who would be laughing the next time we met, but this time it was definitely Chad who would be laughing. From day 85 to day 89, I returned to base and found that Buck had already made his way back there before me. I was really glad to see him home. The base had not felt the same without him.
Did I miss anything, Zozo? I was gone for a long time at Chad's pad. That fire dragon was so annoying and talking about himself the whole time. I'm really glad to be back.
I'm glad to hear it, Buck. Sorry you had to go through all that.
It wasn't all bad. I did manage to swipe some relaxation supplies from Chad's relaxation room. I bet we could turn these into a room of our own.
That sounds awesome. I love relaxation. I got to work on upgrading the base with a brand new relaxation room, while Buck chose to make up for lost time and work on the base's statue. I made sure to put all the right details into the relaxation room, including lots of couches for Buck and I to lounge around on. I bet both of us will really appreciate the work I've done on this room after Buck is done putting together that statue. When I was done with the relaxation room, I went to see the statue and found that it looked absolutely incredible. It was only a statue of me, but I never looked at myself so proudly before.
Remember how you feel about yourself at this moment, Zozo. That confidence in who you are, recognizing your own best qualities, is the key to defeating Chad.
I did almost have him last time, but he's got this new super duper form now, and I think he's gonna knock me out the next time I see him.
In that case, you just take what you already like about yourself and make it even more powerful. There's a spell you can cast that will bring your inner strength to the surface. Show him who you really are!
From day 90 to day 94, I sought out the Book of Spells, which was said to contain a spell that would bring my inner strength to the surface. It was located inside of a deep cave that was full of wither spiders. There was a time not so long ago that I wouldn't have dared to fight for myself, especially against such powerful mobs. But if what Buck said about this spell was true, then I couldn't wait to get my inner strength on. I'm becoming more like who I want to be every single day, and there's nothing that some bully can say that would make me feel like I'm less than that. The wither spiders had powerful attacks and could shoot deadly wither skulls, but with my chubby body and huge amount of hearts, I could withstand equally huge amounts of damage. Big is beautiful! I burned the spiders away with my fire breath, and found my way to the book of spells. This must be the right one. I'll read it when I get back home. From day 95 to day 97, I was back at base, preparing for my showdown with Chad. I was determined to use everything that I had in order to win this fight and overcome that bully once and for all. I knew that I'd be having the fight at his place, so instead of doing any sort of upgrades on my base, I focused on what I would need to do to fight at my best. Potions are the way to go. I can drink a lot of those at once to give myself an advantage. First up was a standard potion of strength to increase the damage of my claws attacks. Second, I chose a potion of regeneration so I could get even more use out of my high amount of hearts. And the third potion that I picked was a potion of fire resistance. Chad is always bragging about his fire, but this should take the heat off of me. On day 98, I decided to relax so that I wouldn't stress out too much about the impending fight I was going to have with Chad. I couldn't let him get into my head, so I made sure to fill my brain with fun and positive feelings. And if you want to feel fun and positive too, you should type Zozo into the search bar so you can find more of my videos. Also, while it's just us relaxing, go ahead and leave a comment about what I should be next. On day 99, it was time to settle my score with Chad once and for all time. I walked through the Crimson Gardens and straight inside Chad's pad. That mean and nasty fire dragon himself was lying in wait, and he was still in his tricked out new form.
Back for more, you little dragon tender? Chad is better than Chad has ever been. This new form is totally awesome, and definitely better than anything you could do.
I now understand why you decided to take that form, Chad.
'Cause I'm a beast like that?
No, it's because you have something to prove. You may have scared everybody else, but I was able to rattle that fake confidence of yours. You're the one who is actually scared, Chad.
What? No, you don't know what you're talking about. Chad is the man, or the dragon man. Actually, I'm just a dragon.
Yes, and I'm just a fat dragon who's got inner strength. I downed my potions and used the Book of Spells to cast a spell of power and unleash my inner strength. My heart rose to 100, and I now had a mighty tail slap attack. Ready to throw down, Chad.
Chad is having second thoughts. I mean, now Chad's the best. Chad will take you on in any form, Tubbo.
The fight began, and I whipped him with my new tail slap. He tried his fire breath, of course, but I was resistant. Your fire can't hurt me anymore, and neither can your words. I gave him serious claw strikes and even more tail slaps. Then I unleashed my own fire breath.
No way. You can't be fire. Chad is fire. Chad is fire as fire.
Not anymore. Then I tail slapped Chad one more time, and he was done bothering me. On day 100, I was once again relaxing at the base with Buck the Black Hippogriff. Chad won't bother me or anyone again. I really taught him a lesson.
You sure did stand up for yourself, Zozo. And you never let anyone tell you who you should be or how you should look.
You said it, Buck. I'm the best at being me, and that's what counts, more than anything else. On day 1, I spawned into the deep dark forest as a skeleton dragon, one of the coolest and spookiest kinds of dragons there is. Well, I guess I'm more of a baby skeleton dragon. I must have just come out of the skeleton altar. That's gotta be why I only have 3 hearts. And what's this in my inventory? A void worm eye? What would I use that for? That's when I saw a skeleton horse riding out of the trees towards me. For some reason, she looked worried.
What are you doing here, baby skeleton dragon?
I just got here. My name's Zozo. What's going on?
It's dangerous to be in this forest at night. We need to get out of here.
Before I could ask any more questions, I saw shadows in the dark between the trees, and suddenly I felt uneasy.
Zozo, we have to leave. Now! Mr. Dark is here.
Mr. Dark? Who's Mr.? A tall, shadowy figure appeared in the trees behind us. At first, all I could see was his glowing purple eyes.
No need to run away. Why don't you come with me, little ones? I'll take you to Playland. We'll have toys and games and candy. I just know you're going to love it.
I knew in my dragon bones I couldn't trust this man. He creeped me out just standing near him. So me and the skeleton horse ran away as fast as we could.
You can run, little ones, but I'll take you all to Playland soon.
We took refuge in a nearby cave to wait out the rest of the night, worried Mr. Dark might find us at any moment. What's your name, skeleton horse?
Sally. I'm Sally the skeleton horse.
Thanks for the save, Sally. On day 2, Sally the skeleton horse and I emerged from the cave with the sun shining high up above.
We're safer during the daytime. I've only ever seen Mr. Dark under the moonlight.
We decided, with a little less pressure on us, to start exploring the rest of the forest. It definitely wasn't so scary with the sun shining in through the trees. Maybe we should collect some apples.
That's a good idea, Zozo. A skeleton horse is still a horse, and I love apples.
We happily collected apples until a huge shape came lumbering out of the dark. It was a skeleton dragon, a huge adult skeleton dragon with black bones. Oh wow! Hey, Mr. Skeleton Dragon, I'm Zozo, and I'm one of your kind. The adult skeleton dragon seemed relieved to see me.
Oh, thank goodness. I've been looking for you everywhere. I'm in terrible trouble, and I need the help of another skeleton dragon. I just didn't expect you to be so small.
I may be small, but I've got a big heart. How can I help you?
A friend of mine, the blue skeleton dragon, was taken by something. Some tall, shadowy entity, and I need help in getting him back.
That sounds just like Mr. Dark.
He terrorized us too, but don't worry, we'll help you get your friend back from Mr. Dark no matter what.
Thank you, Zozo, and friend. For now, I must go. Stay safe.
The adult skeleton dragon flew away, leaving me and Sally alone. It was time to work on our first base, so we started breaking down trees and collecting sticks and wood. I was able to build a crafting bench and made my first set of wooden tools and weapons. These would be perfect for my first base. We found a clearing in the forest and started building ourselves a humble wooden shack with one bed and a stable outside. But all the while, Sally looked a little concerned. What's wrong, Sally?
That's skeleton dragon's friend. We better work hard at getting him back. Mr. Dark only keeps people at Playland for 100 days. After that, well, you don't want to know.
And she was right. I really didn't. On day 3, I was wandering through the forest looking for apples to eat and more supplies that I could use to upgrade my base. Nothing like fresh air and a walk to make a morning happy and healthy. But during my walk, I saw a hulking figure behind the trees, a mutant skeleton. He looked big and a little scary, so when he turned around and looked at me, I ran for the hills. Not today, mutant skeleton. I returned to my base, where I felt a lot safer and started mining into a nearby hill to gather some stone. Then, I made my first set of stone tools, a stone sword, and even started building a sturdy stone wall around my base. But as I was building my wall, I was suddenly approached by an angry-looking gang of rogue tomatoes. They somehow looked both silly and like they meant business.
Don't you laugh at us, bub, or I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich with extra ketchup, you hear?
Those were fighting words, so I decided it was time to give my brand new stone sword some action. If it's a tussle you want, it's a tussle you'll get, tomatoes! I fought them all, making short work of them with my stone sword. And after their defeat, one of them dropped a milk bucket. Guess I'll just keep this, in case it comes in handy. That's when I looked up and noticed it was getting dark. I'd need to finish the wall another day. I definitely didn't want to get stuck outside while Mr. Dark was on the prowl. Instead, I went back to my bedroom and got a good night's sleep. On days 4 and 5, I woke up to the sound of Sally the skeleton horse entering my room. Hey, Sally, what's up?
Zozo, I noticed you brought back a milk bucket last night. You should drink it. Milk contains calcium, and calcium is good for your bones. It's the perfect way for a skeleton dragon to get stronger.
That sounded like a great idea, so I chugged the milk and immediately found myself getting stronger. I grew to a big, tougher form with 6 hearts rather than 3. This is more like it. I'm gonna go take a walk in my new form.
I'll finish up the wall while you're out.
So that's what I did. But this time, I didn't want to just walk through the forest. I went all the way to the desert so I could feel the heat on my bones. Sun and skeletons go together like peanut butter and jelly. I turned and saw a wither skeleton further out into the desert. He seemed to be fishing in a pond. I couldn't believe how many friendly skeletons I was running into these days. I made my way over the small hill to him.
Enjoying the sun, fellow skeleton?
Want to come back to my base and hang out with me and my horse friend, Mr. Wither Skeleton? We're putting together a group to help save an innocent skeleton dragon from an evil man.
Sounds good to me, brother. Let's boogie.
The Wither Skeleton and I traveled back to the base together, and we came back just in time because a big, angry Ravager was trying to break down my defensive wall. Uh-oh, wanna help me run off this nasty customer, Wither Skeleton?
Heck yeah, let's do it!
With the both of us ready to fight, the Ravager was outmanned. We didn't manage to defeat it, but it did run away. By then, it was already almost nightfall. We needed to get some sleep, in case Mr. Dark came out looking for us. I installed a second bed in my cabin, as well as some more furniture, and invited the Wither Skeleton to come stay with us.
Sounds good to me, brother. Sleepover time!
On days 6 through 8, me and the Wither Skeleton went out into the forest and collected some more yummy apples. But that wasn't all we were looking for. We found the same cave that Sally and I had hidden in the first night I arrived here. It's mining time! And then I mined all over that cave. It didn't take me long to find enough iron and coal to smell myself some new weapons and tools. Iron weapons, iron tools, I'm really moving up in the world. After leaving the cave with our loot and returning to the forest, we were suddenly ambushed by the same Ravager, looking for revenge. Be ready to fight, Wither Skeleton. This won't be easy.
I was born ready, Zozo.
But sadly, he wasn't actually born ready. That Ravager was way stronger than we thought. We fought the Ravager until it was defeated, but the Wither Skeleton was destroyed in the process. Wither Skeleton, no, I'll never forget you. He dropped his hat, which I decided to take with me. He had also dropped a flint and steel, a useful item for lighting fires. On the way back to my base, I encountered a soul vulture hanging out amongst the trees. Hey, Mr. Soul Vulture, wanna come back to my base? I figure us Bone Brothers should stick together.
Is it cozy?
The coziest in all the forest.
Well, I can hardly say no to that, can I?
The Soul Vulture came back to my base with me, where I built him his own room. I also used some of my excess iron to create an iron golem to guard the base. Now I can sleep a little easier. On days 9 to 10, I was woken up in the middle of the night by something scratching my window. I looked up and saw Mr. Dark, his bright purple eyes staring in through my window. He was so creepy, I could barely stand it. Mr. Dark, how did you get past my guard wall and my iron golem? Mr. Dark gave a creepy little giggle.
I can go anywhere I want, at any time I want, Zozo. No walls are too high, no trenches are too deep, and no golem is too strong. If I wanted to, I could open your door and walk into your bedroom right now.
Then why don't you?
Because where'd be the fun in that? Silly little dragon boy, you'll choose to come to Playland with me. I just know you will, and you'll have a wonderful time. I'll be keeping my eye on you, Zozo. I'll come back when you least expect it, and then you'll be all mine.
Then he disappeared, and I couldn't get back to sleep for the rest of the night. On days 11 through 12, still feeling shaken up from my encounter with Mr. Dark the night before, I decided to build some base improvements. I made the wall taller and started digging a trench around the outside of the wall, so the only way to get in or out would be the front gate, guarded by my iron golem. This should keep that nasty midnight creep away. After my work was done, Sally the skeleton horse approached me with a suggestion.
Zozo, you should train yourself and get stronger by visiting new biomes. How about a trip to the beach?
Yeah, I could use a trip to the beach after a week like this. I made my way to the beach with Sally for a mixture of relaxation and hardcore strength training. And it didn't take long for us to need it, because a bunch of angry iron chickens started attacking us.
We're the iron chicken muggers, and believe us, we can be pretty foul. So you better hand over all your bucks.
Thankfully, with Sally and I working together, we were able to defeat the Iron Chicken Muggers and keep all of our hard-earned money.
This kind of thing is exactly why I hate chickens.
We kept exploring until we found another skeleton friend, a skeleton deer. So of course, I invited her back to my base.
Gee, thanks. I'd love a new place to stay. I've been getting tired of all this sand.
The skeleton deer followed us back to the base, where I built her a new section of the stable to sleep in.
This is so comfy. Thanks, Zozo.
Don't mention it, skeleton deer.
And by the way, I saw you fighting the iron chickens. You were good, but if you want to get better, I recommend seeking out the necromancer. He can mentor you to greatness.
The necromancer? That sounds like a plan. On days 13 to 15, I left my base and began searching the forest for the necromancer. I'm sick of being afraid and hiding away when the bad guys come. I want to be strong enough to be brave and fight back. But it turned out I was talking to myself a little too loudly because an angry stone monster came running at me through the woods. Uh-oh, sorry about the noise. I'm guessing we can't just talk this out. He did not want to talk it out. Instead, he chased me and I ran as fast as I could on my skeleton dragon legs, but he was faster. Oh no, oh no, 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 no! But just as he was about to catch me, something burst out of the tree line as quick as a flash. It was the mutant skeleton I'd run away from earlier. He pulled out his bow and easily defeated the stone monster, really saving my bones. Thank you, mutant skeleton. I'm so sorry for running away earlier. I guess I learned a valuable lesson about judging on appearances.
No problem, Zozo. I know I can look a little scary sometimes, but really, I'm out here trying to help.
Wanna come and stay at my base for a while? I'm putting together a team.
I'd love to, but there's too much work to do protecting people out here. Perhaps I'll drop in for a visit sometime, though, eh?
Me and the mutant skeleton went our separate ways, and I continued searching for the fabled necromancer until I saw a gremlin hopping around, looking clearly distressed. What's wrong, little gremlin?
I'm in trouble, man. These, nasty jungle spiders have been chasing me all day, and I'm worried they're gonna get me.
Stand back, little gremlin. This sounds like a job for Zozo. With my trusty sword, I found that nasty swarm of jungle spiders and took them out before returning to the gremlin.
Whoa, Zozo, you're like a real hero. That was awesome.
No problem, little gremlin. Say, you know where I might be able to find a necromancer?
Oh, the necromancer. You'll find him in the west of here. Keep heading in that direction, and you're sure to meet him.
Thank you, gremlin. That's exactly what I needed to hear. For days 16 to 19, I began my journey west in search of the necromancer, until I heard a terrible crashing noise coming from the distance behind me. It sounded like it was coming from my base. I immediately turned tail and ran all the way back, only to see that my defensive wall had been destroyed, and a dangerous zombie taiga was attacking my base. What are you doing, you meanie?
It's nothing personal, kid. Mr. Doc told me to do this. If I don't hurt you, he'll hurt me. That's just the way it is.
I turned and saw something awful. He'd already destroyed the skeleton deer and the soul vulture. Sally, the skeleton horse, was my only companion left. That's it. You're going down. I pulled out my sword and attacked the zombie taiga, but it seemed like he deflected the hits without any effort. He was almost unstoppable.
That was just embarrassing. If you couldn't defeat me, you'll have no hope against Mr. Dark. I'm out of here.
And with that, the zombie taiga fled, leaving me in the ruins of my base with two of my friends. Gone! I feel useless, like I can't protect anyone. That's when a gang of mossy skeletons turned up. They looked frightened and said they'd heard I'd been offering other skeletons a place to stay. Of course you can stay here, new buddies, but I'm gonna need to make a few renovations first. I built a new barracks on the side of my base for the mossy skeletons to live in. They seemed quite happy with their new place, and I took the time to rebuild some of the defenses that the zombie taiga destroyed. But I can't just defend my base. I need to be able to defend myself too. I mined for more iron and coal until I had everything I needed to smelt myself a new set of iron armor. I may have lost a battle, but I wouldn't lose the war! On days 20 to 22, I left my base to search for some statue building materials. After all, a cool statue is great for inspiring everyone to do their best. But on my way out to mine some stone, I was ambushed by a green troll with an axe to grind. Well, more specifically, he had a giant fist. I've got no interest in feeding any trolls today. With my sword at the ready, we engaged in a tense duel. Thankfully, with my new iron armor, I was able to withstand his attacks and defeat him. Iron and bone beats flesh. Afterwards, I traveled further through the forest until I stumbled upon a desert with the remains of a giant skeleton. Whoa, this is perfect for building a cool statue, and I know exactly what I'll make with them. I started mining the ribs one by one, making sure I didn't fall into the pools of lava. By the end of it, I had all the bone blocks I'd ever need. On the way back, I encountered a herd of wild sheep grazing and decided I'd tame them and lead them back to the base, because you never know when some wool will come in handy. When we reached the base, I made a new, fenced-off section where the sheep could graze and be left to their own devices. And with that out of the way, it was time to start statue building. Laying down the base is one of the most important parts, so the statue doesn't just tumble over. Can you guess what the statue is gonna be yet? Let me know down in the comments. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the forest to search for the necromancer. I needed his teachings to help me get stronger and defeat Mr. Dark. While wandering through the woods, I got attacked by a nasty gang of rotten rats. They tried to bite me and give me some nasty diseases. When it comes to rats versus skeleton dragons, rats don't win. I defeated the last of them with my iron sword and continued searching. On the way, I ran into a wither skeleton jockey riding a spider. He reminded me of the wither skeleton who used to be my friend. Hey, Mr. Wither skeleton jockey, wanna come back and stay at my base?
Nice offer, but no thanks. There are some evil things lurking in these woods, and I've learned not to trust anyone. Maybe some other time.
All right, suit yourself. Stay safe out there. It felt like the day had been a total waste as I journeyed further into the forest. But just as I was ready to give up, I saw the necromancer himself sitting on a rock and meditating. No way! The necromancer! Is it really you?
Those who seek me will find me, little skeleton dragon. And I assume you've been seeking me.
I have. I want you to mentor me and help me become more powerful.
Well, young dragon, with great power comes great... Well, you have to have a good reason to have great power. So, what is your reason?
I don't need it for myself. I need it to defeat Mr. Dark and save everyone he's captured.
That, little dragon, is a good reason. Your training begins now.
For days 27 to 31, the necromancer gave me my first challenge.
To defeat an entity as evil and spooky as Mr. Dark, you need to learn to conquer your fear. It's okay to be afraid, Zozo, but true courage is knowing that there are some things you must do, even if they make you feel afraid.
What would you have me do, Master Necromancer?
Do you see that nearby cave? It contains a monster. I want you to go in there and defeat it to help gain control of your fear. If you complete this first challenge, I'll give you a reward.
I believe in myself. I can do it.
Good, and you can take this bat to help you. It will freeze your opponents for 3 seconds. May it come in handy.
I took the necromancer's bat and went into the cave. It was dark and scary, and I could feel myself getting nervous. But I took deep breaths and kept going. I needed to strengthen my courage to defeat Mr. Dark. The deeper parts of the cave weren't any better, only some lichen and mushrooms giving off faint light. Suddenly, a scary, growling soul eater leaped out of the darkness toward me, ready to attack. I stayed calm and hit the creature with my bat, stunning it. I'd passed the test. Okay, now it's time to get out of here. On days 32 to 35, my new mentor rewarded me for passing the first challenge by giving me a potion of strength. I immediately drank it and felt myself getting bigger and tougher. This training was really paying off. I have to be at least twice the size I once was. This whole thing made me feel so happy, I decided I'd go back to my base and tell the mossy skeletons and Sally the skeleton horse about my victory. And on the way, I encountered the wither skeleton jockey that I'd met a few days before. Hey, jockey! Have you had any second thoughts about coming to my base?
Well, now that you mention it, I have been getting some eerie vibes lately. Maybe we should stick together after all.
But those eerie vibes didn't come from nothing. Neither of us noticed it, but the day had gotten away from us. The sun was going down, and the night was upon us. That's when Mr. Dark himself came creeping out of the trees.
Ooh, new friends! I'll take you to Playland with me. We'll have so much fun.
He grabbed the wither skeleton jockey with his long, spindly arms.
Zozo, help me! I'm being kidnapped!
But I couldn't help him. Mr. Dark was too fast and too strong, and all I could do was run. My base may have been the only place that was safe at night. On the way back, I encountered an ancient spirit villager who started chasing me, and I was too afraid to even fight him. I just ran away. All that training, useless. I don't know if I'll ever be able to defeat Mr. Dark. On days 36 to 39, I woke up and took the jockey spider to the stable when I heard noise coming from my front gate. I made my way over to see a familiar face waiting outside of my base. It was the same zombie taiga who attacked my base and destroyed soul vulture and skeleton deer. This time, he's going down. I ran out, ready to fight. This time, I had full iron armor, so the zombie taiga's attacks weren't nearly as strong.
What sorcery is this? Mr. Dark told me you'd be easy to defeat. This isn't fair!
With the help of my new strength and the bat that the necromancer had given me, I defeated the zombie taiga and avenged my fallen friends. Speaking of friends, Sally the skeleton horse approached me with a wonderful idea.
Zozo, we should make our way to the stone shores. I've heard that some of the friendlies over there have created some awesome upgrades.
Oh really? Then there's no time to waste. We hightailed it over to the stone shores, where we saw an innocent skeleton being hassled by an ogre. We couldn't let that stand. Get away from that skelly! Sally and I charged in, and that was enough to scare the ogre away. He seemed thankful and gave us 2 rewards, the knockback upgrade, which increased the power of my weapons, and a treasure map. You hear that, Sally? We can use this to search for buried treasure.
Now that sounds like a cool adventure to me, Zozo. Let's do it.
For days 40 to 43, Sally and I followed the map until we arrived in the warm, dusty Badlands. We were getting a little nervous because it was almost nightfall. We were right about that, but we didn't consider that Mr. Dark might send his minions to do the job for him.
Look out, Zozo! Some night apparitions are coming straight towards us.
Sally was right. 3 big, scary night apparitions. I pulled out my sword, now with increased knockback, and fought them off. They were tough, but luckily, Sally and I made a good team, and we were able to defeat 2 of the 3. The last one escaped to fight another day. Let's keep going, Sally. According to this map, we're really close to finding the buried treasure. Soon enough, we found an area of the ground with a big red X marked on it.
Don't they always say X marks the spot, Zozo? Let's start digging.
We mined down into the ground until we found a buried chest. And inside, there were a whole bunch of rubies. This is awesome! I know exactly what I'm going to use them for. On days 44 to 49, I continued my work on the statue. It was really coming along now. Can you see what I'm making now? I bet you can't guess. But while I was working on my statue, I saw a trader on a horse making his way through the forest near my base and decided to strike up a conversation. Hey, Mr. Trader, got anything cool on offer?
It's your lucky day, dear customer, because I'm actually doing a 2-for-1 special on netherite ingots today. It's a rare and very valuable material. Perfect for a skeleton dragon like you.
That sounds so cool. How much?
I only take payment in emeralds, but don't worry. If you haven't got any, you can always raid the emerald mines of Alonia near here. They got abandoned by the workers when the boss decided not to pay them enough, so all the emeralds were left for the taking.
I really wanted those netherite ingots, even though I didn't really know what I'd use them for. So I journeyed to the mines and collected as many emeralds as I could from underground. Netherite City? Here I come! I traveled back to my base and made the trade. The trader gave me my 2 netherite ingots and rode off.
Pleasure doing business with you, Zozo.
But I didn't have long to enjoy my fancy new ingots. As night fell, the 3rd and final night apparition came back for revenge, and I needed to run out beyond the wall to take it on. You guys don't know when to quit, do you? Soon enough, I defeated the night apparition, but it made me realize that my base needed better defenses. If these monsters and Mr. Dark mainly come out at night, maybe they hate the light. Perhaps adding some torches to my wall would help ward them off. On days 50 to 53, I realized something horrible. The night apparition attack had just been a distraction, while someone else had sneaked into the stable and kidnapped Sally the skeleton horse. I ran to my mentor, the necromancer, deep in the forest, and asked him where Mr. Dark's forces may have taken my best friend.
Well, Zozo, I hate to tell you this, but it's likely that Mr. Dark's minions will be taking your friend to the Twisted Kingdom he calls Playland.
But where can I find that?
Even I don't know exactly, but my senses tell me that you should travel to the east. Your answers lay there.
There was no time to waste. I didn't want Sally to get trapped in Playland, just like the other skeleton dragon's friend, so I immediately set off to the east, hoping to find her. But on my way, I was suddenly ambushed by a zombie Spartan, ready to fight. But unlucky for him, I was ready to fight too. Nothing is going to stand in the way of me rescuing my friend. The zombie Spartan was tough, but I had the power of friendship on my side. It didn't take me long to strike him to submission with my enchanted sword. In his defeat, the zombie Spartan dropped something, 2 voidworm mandibles. I already have a voidworm eye. I better take them. They might come in handy. On days 54 to 57, having defeated the zombie Spartan, I continued searching for Sally the skeleton horse, and my search soon led me to a deep cave. Suddenly, it felt like everything got much darker around me. I'm never going to let Mr. Dark take you to Playland, Sally.
That isn't your choice, Zozo.
I turned and saw one of the shadows in the cave moving with bright purple eyes. It was him, Mr. Dark, standing right behind me.
Do you want to come to Playland with me now?
What did you do with her? I swung my sword, and Mr. Dark teleported out of the way, appearing right behind me.
She's playing with my friends right now, but later she'll play with me. Do you want to play with us, Zozo?
I tried to hit him again, but Mr. Dark was too fast for me. He hit me with one of his long, spindly arms and knocked me up against the wall, knocking out half of my hearts in one strike.
Still too weak. We'll play again when you're stronger, Zozo. Mark my words.
And then he disappeared, leaving me with nothing. A silver Lobo approached me out of the darkness, looking worried, and gave me some apples to replenish my hearts. Thanks, Silver Lobo. You saved my life here. The Lobo told me about a secret room further into the cave where I might find some vital information. I went deeper into the cave, feeling around on the wall until I felt a button and pressed it, opening a secret door. There was blue fire torches on the wall and an old map left on the table with some locations marked. They must be keeping Sally at one of these locations. On days 58 through 62, I decided I needed to become stronger before I could find the location where they were keeping Sally. First, I went to the diamond mine the Silver Lobo told me about and took the old elevator down. I quickly found some diamonds near the entrance and started mining. I then saw what looked like an old abandoned mining camp. A chest inside of it had a book with the unbreakable enchantment. I don't think whoever owned this camp would mind if I used the crafting table to make my gear. I made myself a diamond sword and a diamond chestplate to match. I used the nearby anvil to put the unbreakable enchantment on my chestplate. Now this is one of the most powerful pieces of armor around. After that, I returned to my base to continue work on my statue. It's really coming along nicely now. I even got to use all those rubies that Sally and I collected. But I could use some more materials. I went out into the forest to hunt, but in the process, I found something remarkable. A magical, enchanted halo. I decided to try it on and immediately felt its magic empower me. I got stronger and healthier, going up to 14 hearts. Whoa, talk about a functional headwear. As I continued hunting in the forest, I stumbled upon a spider nest. I saw the same gremlin from before, stuck in their webs calling for help. The spiders noticed me and charged towards me. This was the perfect opportunity to test out my new gear, but they were no match for my diamond sword. After I dealt with them, I cut the web holding the gremlin and he fell down. He thanked me for saving him again and ran off into the forest. Next time I take on Mr. Dark, he's in trouble. I went back to my base, feeling a lot more confident, and found that a huge bone serpent was waiting for me. But don't worry, he was friendly.
So, you're the skeleton dragon I've been hearing about. I heard something about this friend of yours. A skeleton horse? You want to find her? I recommend you look for an abandoned house on the plains.
Finally, a break in the case. You're a lifesaver, Bone Serpent, literally. Want to stay at my base?
Well, since you're offering, why not?
I built a new room with a pool where the Bone Serpent could stay. But by then, it was already nighttime. Mr. Dark would be on the prowl. I'd go find Sally first thing in the morning. On day 63 through 66, I was preparing to go on a rescue mission for Sally. But before I could leave, my mentor, the Necromancer, arrived to give me a gift.
Zozo, I wanted to give you a gift before you went on your quest. Mr. Dark is a mutant Enderman, and this dagger will do extra damage against Endermen. But be warned, it'll be incredibly weak against anything that isn't an Enderman.
Thank you, Master Necromancer. These will come in handy. I left my base, passed through the forest, and ventured out onto the plains. This was the exact direction that the Bone Serpent told me to go in. That's when I ran into a group of zombies and decided to test my dagger on them, and it did almost no damage. Wow, Master Necromancer was right. This dagger is useless against things that aren't Endermen. Instead, I pulled out my diamond sword and easily defeated the zombie horde before moving on with my quest. I got distracted again when I saw a villager, dressed like a craftsman standing next to a burning house. He looked like he needed help. Hey, mister, I'm Zozo. Can I give you a hand?
Yes, please! My wife is trapped in that burning building, and I'm too old to rescue her myself. Please help me!
I ran into the burning building and found the craftsman's wife waiting inside. Thanks to my training from the Necromancer, I was able to stay cool under pressure and lead the craftsman's wife safely back out. He was delighted to see her.
Thank you, Zozo. I owe you one for this, and I always repay my debts.
On days 67 through 70, I arrived at the abandoned house in the plains where I figured they must be holding Sally. This place looks so spooky, but I need to do the right thing, just like my mentor taught me. I carefully entered the house, trying not to be detected. I noticed that there was a broken end portal inside. That's weird, but I was quickly distracted by the sounds coming from upstairs. I drew my sword and ran upstairs, seeing Sally the skeleton horse locked in one of the rooms. Don't worry, Sally, I'm here to help.
Wait, Zozo, it's a trap.
3 Endermen suddenly appeared all around me. I tried to fight back, but I wasn't fast enough. They kept teleporting and attacking me back. Little by little, I was backed into the corner. It looked like I was a goner until I saw something on the floor. Is that a potion of fortitude? It was. I quickly grabbed it and drank it, and it made me tough enough to collect my thoughts, remembering the gift from my mentor. I pulled out the dagger and charged in. He was definitely right about its strength against Endermen, because soon enough, all 3 were defeated, although I barely survived that. I went to free Sally from the locked room. We celebrated for a moment in the room before I let her out and headed towards home. Let's go and rest, Sally. I've missed you. I shared some of my apples with Sally as we walked home, happy to finally be reunited. On days 71 to 74, with Sally's help, I invited more skeleton horses to my base and let them stay in my stable. Though I had to take time to expand the stable so everyone could fit inside. Let me know if it gets too cramped in there. After I'd finished my renovations, I decided to journey down into the diamond mine again and collect more, you guessed it, diamonds. When I returned to my base, I used those diamonds to complete my set of diamond armor and enchant it with the protection enchantment to help improve my chances in an intense fight. When the armor was done, I noticed that I received a letter. Oh, it's the craftsman whose wife I saved from that burning house. He says he wants to meet me in the tavern of a nearby village. That's so exciting! On day 75 to 78, I did as the letter said and traveled to the nearby village. I found the craftsman waiting for me in the village tavern, just like he promised.
Good to see you again, Zozo. After what you did, I've been thinking about a way to repair you. And while I'm not a rich man, as a craftsman, I can give you an idea of mine. If you're able to combine 2 netherite ingots, 2 void worm mandibles, and 1 void worm eye, you could create a dimensional carver, a special pickaxe that can teleport you between locations.
Wait, I have all of those materials. That's incredible. I can build one right now. Thank you, Mr. Craftsman. I made my way over to a nearby crafting bench and made myself a dimensional carver and gave it a practice swing. Boom! I was teleported to the village outskirts with a group of great beasts charging at me. Uh-oh, better get out of here. I swung the dimensional carver again, and boom, I was back in my base. Wow, this tool is amazing, though I'll save it for emergencies in the future. On days 79 through 84, I started building a new storage shed for extra supplies in my base. You never know when you'll need the extra storage space. Then, I made a full set of armor for Sally, so she could be better protected when she's wandering through the forest.
This is great, Zozo. Thank you.
But then, I was running low on materials, especially stone and wood, so I decided to head out into the forest to cut down some trees and mine some more stone. While I was mining and lumberjacking, a passing mage noticed me and approached.
Excuse me, young skeleton dragon, but would you happen to be Zozo?
That depends. Do you work for Mr. Dark?
Well, I used to, and there's something I want to get off my chest. You have to understand, Mr. Dark is pure evil. If ever there was good in him, it's gone now. You cannot reason with him. You cannot talk to him. The only joy he takes is in making others unhappy. So when you're dealing with him, just be careful. He is not to be messed with.
And with that, the mage left. Guess that's my daily dose of nightmare fuel. On days 85 to 89, I returned to my base from the forest in the late evening, only to find out that the worst had happened. Mr. Dark was attacking my base with a whole gang of soul eaters.
Look, friends, Zozo is back. He's here to join our little playtime.
I want nothing to do with you or your deranged games. I just want you to stop bothering everybody.
Yes, we could do that. Or we could play catch. Soul Eater, throw!
One of the soul eaters pulled out a javelin and threw it at me. But then something strange happened. Rather than losing hearts, I started to get bigger and stronger. I'd become an evolved skeleton dragon, reaching my full size and going up 20 hearts. Whoa, I guess all that training is finally paying off. Wanna 1v1 me, Mr. Dark?
Why should I have all the fun? My friends want to play with you too. Play with him, Soul Eaters.
Mr. Dark vanished again, and the Soul Eaters ran towards me. With my new size and power, it didn't take me long to defeat them, which made me even more frustrated that I couldn't have taken on Mr. Dark there and then. Instead, I had to increase the size of my bedroom. A bigger skeleton dragon needs a bigger place to live. On days 90 to 94, I finally finished my statue. It's a giant cool skull statue, showing how we skeletons stuck together and stood against the evil of Mr. Dark and his minions. Did you guess what it was before I just told you? Let me know down in the comments. Once the statue was finally done, I decided I'd give some extra training to my best friend, Sally the Skeleton Horse. We trained together on the base grounds by play fighting until she upgraded and became bigger and stronger.
It feels so good to be powerful enough to fend for myself. Thanks, Zozo.
I never would have gotten this far without you, Sally. And after training, Sally took me to her brewing station she had set up to make a bunch of healing potions. You never know when these will come in handy. On day 95 to day 97, I met with the necromancer in the forest. He had some more valuable advice for me.
Zozo, I've heard of the location of a cabin in these woods, once owned by a person who was researching Mr. Dark. You might be able to find some valuable information there.
That definitely seemed like a good lead, so I started searching the woods until I found a rundown old cabin. On the inside, I found a dusty old book inside a chest. Oh, I wonder what secret knowledge is inside. But I didn't have time to read it just yet. Suddenly, the cabin was under attack by a gang of fire elementals who'd come to burn down the cabin. I was lucky to have my diamond armor, or I would have been burned up too. Okay, fire elementals, let's go. I took them on with my diamond sword and defeated them one by one, only getting a little burnt in the process. Great! Now I can finally read this book. The book was filled with frantic notes, including a part that read, Mr. Dark, that maniac. He calls it Playland, but it's nothing like that. There's only death there. It's the end. Nothing but the end. Of course, that explains the broken end portal too. Mr. Dark's Playland is actually the end. On day 98, I prepared the final enchantments for my weapons and armor and met with Sally one last time. She was nice enough to give me some more apples for the trip. I'm going to take on Mr. Dark. I discovered that he's hiding in the end, and without an end portal, I can use my dimensional carver to get there.
You're not going alone, Zozo. I'm coming with you.
But Sally…
But nothing. I saved your butt the first time you came here, and you think I'm gonna let you wander right into Mr. Dark's base? Alone? We started this together, and we're gonna finish it together too.
Well, when you put it like that, I can't exactly say no, can I? But I can say that if you want more exciting adventures like this, you should subscribe to Zozo and find more of our videos by searching Zozo on YouTube. I'll really appreciate it. On day 99, Sally and I were ready to take the fight to Mr. Dark and free everyone that was still trapped in Playland.
Let's do this, Zozo. Let's make it so the people of this world never have to fear the night again.
That's what I'm talking about, Sally! Sally stood close to me, and I used the dimensional carver to teleport us all the way to the end so we could storm Playland together. But as soon as we arrived, we were immediately surrounded by a gang of Endermen. I immediately regret this decision.
Yeah, me too!
I pulled out my handy dagger, ready to fight off the Endermen, when I realized that they weren't here for me. They surrounded Sally, too fast for me to stop them, and grabbed her. They teleported away, taking Sally with them to who knows where. Sally, no! I knew why they'd done it. They were working for Mr. Dark, and Mr. Dark wanted me to face him alone. On day 100, I walked deeper into the end alone, looking for Mr. Dark. He didn't seem to be anywhere around here. That's when I noticed a cage containing a skeleton dragon just like me. I'd finally found him. Don't worry, fellow Draggy, I'll get you out of here. I heard an evil laugh behind me, and Mr. Dark appeared.
You've come to play with me, at long last. I knew you would in the end, little one.
I'm not so little anymore. I pulled out my dagger and turned to attack Mr. Dark, but he teleported out of the way and hit me again. He was even stronger than I remembered. Thankfully, I had a spare potion of healing to take to offset the damage.
Play along, Zozo. It's no fun if you don't play.
I tried to attack him again, but it was like fighting smoke. Every time I went for him, he teleported out of the way and attacked me back. It felt like all of my training was for nothing against him. You don't play fair, Mr. Dark.
That's because it's no fun to play like that. And I'm sorry, Zozo, but you're starting to feel awfully boring to me.
I looked behind me and saw that a giant chasm had opened up in the ground behind me. It was so dark down there, I didn't even know if there was a bottom.
You'll find more friends down there, Zozo. You'll never want to leave.
While Mr. Dark was focused on me, I saw a figure charging up behind him. It was Sally, the skeleton horse. And still, Mr. Dark hadn't even noticed her.
Any last words before you go into the dark, Zozo?
Yeah, playtime's over.
What?
Sally the skeleton horse charged into Mr. Dark and knocked him into the bottomless pit. He screamed and fell, never to be seen again.
Can't say I'm gonna miss that creep. Let's save the prisoners and get out of here, Zozo.
You know, that sounds good to me. On day 1, I spawned in as a land shark, the most awesome carnivore ever. I'm a real fish out of water. I've got 9 hearts from the start because sharks are naturally born tough. And even though I'm tiny, I still have a bite. Looking around, I saw that my starting area was a desert, or should I say, a sea of sand. But there aren't any other sea creatures anywhere. I wanted to go find some fish to eat, so I started swimming through the land in search of a nice meal. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. I eventually ran into another animal, but it was a tarantula. I heard that they were poisonous, so I didn't want to eat it, but it definitely wanted to eat me. That's no way to treat the top of a food chain. Wait, am I even at the top of a food chain? I swam away from the tarantula and soon discovered that I had the ability to dive inside of sand blocks to hide. I stayed under the desert surface until the tarantula got bored of looking for me and moved on. Then I popped back up out of the sand. I didn't expect other things would try to eat me today. While I was thinking, a coyote tried to snack on me too. It took off a few hearts, but this time I fought back. As I expected, my bite packed a real wallop. I celebrated my win by chowing down on some coyote meat. It wasn't that tasty, but at least it kept my hunger meter full. I'd look for something better to eat tomorrow. Until then, I'd take shelter inside of a sand dune. On day 2, I resurfaced and went on to explore the desert in search of materials. At a nearby oasis, there was a grove of palm trees. I bit a few of them down and collected the wood they dropped. Ugh, that tasted gross. This is why I need tools in the first place. I got sick of biting trees pretty quickly, so I crafted a wooden axe to cut down enough of the remaining trees that I could make a complete set of wooden tools. While I was chopping, an octopus fell down from one of the trees. That was definitely the last place I expected an octopus to be. But then again, I was a land shark.
What's the big idea? Can't a guy hide in a tree peacefully without getting knocked down?
Sorry, buddy. I had no idea you were up there. What is an octopus doing in a tree anyway?
It's not safe to wander out in the open out here. There are huge spiders everywhere, and they're looking for me.
I thought spiders and octopuses got along. You have so much in common, like having 8 limbs and... that's about it.
We most certainly don't get along. And I suggest you find a place to hide too. The spiders out here are looking for sharks too. Sharks like you.
So they were hunting me. But why?
I've said enough. I need to find a new place to hide. Good luck.
The octopus ran away, but not before dropping some healing potions. He must have been prepared for the worst. I felt a little bad about taking them, but if he hid well enough, he wouldn't be needing them. On day 3, I decided to make the desert oasis into my base. I may have been able to swim on land, but having a source of drinking water around was never a bad idea. So I started chopping away at the rest of the palm trees to clear out an area where I could create my own personal retreat. Suddenly, a wild emu came bounding across the desert towards me. It was surprisingly fast and aggressive, but I was hungry, so that didn't stop me from taking a bite. The bird's attacks did a bunch of damage, so I was grateful for my higher starting health. Emus are trouble. If only I had heavy artillery. A couple bites later, and the emu was defeated. It also dropped a delicious golden drumstick. That looks yummy. I gobbled up the drumstick and felt myself begin to change. I became a bigger shark, and my bite damage increased to be as strong as an iron sword. My already great number of hearts also increased to 17. I tried my ability to dive into land on the grass blocks and found that I could now dive into those too. I bet this works on all kinds of blocks now. Now I can explore the terrain safely. I spent the rest of the day constructing my resort. It was made out of the palms I chopped down earlier. I also added a room for myself. To protect myself from mobs, I decided to also include a fence that surrounded the entire resort. On days 4 to 5, I went out to catch some rabbits to keep at the base for a steady food supply. I was a carnivore after all. I spotted some hanging around by some cacti, but a tarantula scared them away. Didn't the octopus say that those tarantulas were looking for me? I decided to get to the bottom of this and confront the spider directly. I hid and waited until he got close, and then I popped out of the ground to ambush him. I gave him one bite to show him I meant business, and then I gave him a piece of my mind. Hey, what do you want with us sea creatures anyway? The tarantula was startled by my ambush, but chuckled like he was remembering a secret.
You'll find out soon enough, taste a shark. Sous Chef has promised us tarantulas a bowl of her famous soup if we bring a land shark to her.
Sous Chef? Who is that?
You mean you don't know? She's only the fanciest and most renowned chef in the entire world. Her seafood cuisine is legendary, and very soon you are going to become a part of it.
But I'm not a seafood. I'm a land shark.
Then let's see if your flavor is the same.
The tarantula struck back with a bite attack that left me poisoned. I was taking gradual damage to my hearts from the after effects. That's one lousy status condition. I need to finish this quickly. My enhanced bite did the trick. A couple of those were too much for the tarantula, and he was no more. That's what you get for poisoning me. Even after the fight was over, I was still affected by the lingering poison damage, but thankfully, I had enough hearts remaining to wait for it to wear off. The total was way more damage than I was expecting. I even had to use a couple of healing potions I got from the octopus. I was lucky I took that tarantula by surprise. If he had ambushed me instead, that could have been it. I returned to the base to wait for my heart meter to regenerate. On days 6 to 8, I searched a nearby forest for some materials to craft an antidote to tarantula poison. I had a feeling that yesterday wouldn't be my last tango with those spiders, and I wanted to be prepared for next time. I found a patch of some plants with healing properties, which I could use to replenish my potions, but they wouldn't be able to neutralize the poison itself. I don't like it, but I think I need to capture a tarantula and study the poison. After that, I started flopping my way back over to the desert I'd made my home. I made my way across the dunes until I saw a tarantula, then I dove under the sand to hide. It didn't seem to notice me, so I waited for an opportunity to strike. But just then, another mob swooped out of the sky and attacked the tarantula. Whoa, what is that thing? It was a tarantula hawk, the tarantula's natural predator. It looked really tough, but it was distracted because it was fighting the tarantula. I emerged from the sand and took the tarantula hawk by surprise. The fight was won before it even began. Sharks are problem solvers. The tarantula hawk dropped something that would solve my poison problem, a rare poison resistance potion. I ate the whole thing in one bite. Hooray! With this, I won't take any extra damage from the tarantula venom. On days 9 to 10, I explored some nearby hills, which I could mine for stone and other sturdy blocks that couldn't be found in the desert. I had fun trying out my dive ability on a bunch of different surfaces. While I was diving, I fell into an area where a lot of carrot plants were growing. I'm going to take these and replant them at my base. Those rabbits will have to eat something before I eat them. As I was pulling up carrots, I felt like someone was behind me and turned around. It was a girl. She was dressed as a chef and carrying a really big knife. I hoped it wasn't who I thought it was.
I, sous chef, have found myself another shark. And I thought the only ingredients out here were carrots.
Oh no, it's exactly who I thought it was. See ya.
Wait, come back. Eh, sharky sharky.
Even though I was bigger, I was still just a fish. And a fish doesn't pick a fight with a chef. It never ends well. I swam as fast as I could until I lost her, and then I dove into the stone. For some reason, it was trickier this time. That's when I realized there was another shark trying to hide. Unlike me, this guy was a hammerhead shark. I bet building stuff is really easy for him.
Boy, am I glad to meet you. I thought I was the only shark left.
So did I. If you don't mind me asking, do you know where all the other sharks went?
That sous chef you just saw has been rounding up our kind and turning us into soup for her restaurant.
Soup? Oh no, I hate soup. And I'd hate being in it even more. She must be stopped. On days 11 to 12, my new hammerhead friend and I went back to my base. I made him his own room to make him feel right at home at my aquatic animals resort. Because stairs are really difficult to climb for finned boys like us, I decided to build in some pillars that we could use to swim up and down between levels. I was out getting more material when I was attacked by a giant snake. Let's hope my poison resistance works against snake venom too. The second it sunk its fangs into me, I was badly poisoned. My hearts were reducing quickly, so I ran back to base and started working on a new way to counter the venom. I knew that honey could help with curing poison, so I went and found a hive of desert bees, which I carefully transported to a safe location near my base. Now I have all the honey I need to avoid getting sick. I went back to fight the giant snake, and thanks to the honey and my healing potions, I was able to outlast it in a battle of bites. The snake dropped a rattle when it was defeated, and I had a feeling this was the key to building my poison resistance. I combined the rattle with some of the flowers and honey I had collected earlier, and crafted an extra strength poison resistance potion. I drank it immediately. I'll bet I can become immune to all poisons if I keep making potions like these. On days 13 to 15, I was fast asleep in my shark bed when I remembered something from long ago, before I was even a baby land shark. It must have been a memory from a distant land shark ancestor. Back then, all of us land sharks swam through the desert together in a big group, or a shiver of sharks. There was always plenty to eat, and we always shared with each other. But one day, an army of tarantulas showed up and started capturing the sharks in their sticky spider webs. They dragged my ancestors to a huge cooking pot where sous chef was waiting.
Très bien. With this latest haul, I'll have shark fin soup to serve in my restaurant for years to come.
She was talking to an even bigger spider next to her, who appeared to be calling the shots for the tarantulas.
Boss, when do we get some of the soup?
You'll wait your turn. The other humans will get to sample my cooking first. Then maybe your spiders can have a chance.
Okay. Whatever you say, boss.
Now, let's get cooking.
I woke up from that terrible nightmare before I saw all the land sharks go into the cooking pot. That would have been far too scary for me, no matter how tough of a shark I was. How horrible! Now I know why there are so few of us land sharks left in the world. If sous chef had an army of spiders at her command, maybe it would be better for Hammerhead and I to keep ourselves hidden instead of going after her. On days 16 to 19, I was searching around the base for Hammerhead and couldn't find him. Hey Hammerhead, where are you? Are we playing hide and seek? There was a note left on my crafting table, so I read it.
Dear Zozo, I'm going hunting for some more food. If I don't come back before tomorrow, it probably means that I'm in trouble. Please come looking for me. You're the only friend I have in this world.
So that's where he is. He's in trouble. It had been at least a day since the last time I saw him, so going to look for him would be a good idea. I decided to go find my way to this trouble place he mentioned. Sure enough, it turned out to be a town for bandits and outlaws to the west of the desert. This place sure does look like trouble, but if my friend's here, I can't leave until I found him.
Hey, Zozo!
Hammerhead! You were easier to find than I thought.
I said I was in trouble, and here I am. Let's go drink some milk at one of these saloons. I'm paying.
We walked inside one of the saloons and saw that there was a fight breaking out between some bandits. It seemed like a group of them were ganging up on one guy. Hey, that's not fair! Leave him alone!
Sharks!
The bandits screamed and ran away. I guess the sight of a big shark and his hammerhead friend was all it took to scare them off.
Thanks for the help, fellow sharks.
Huh? You're not a shark, you're a human.
That's where you're wrong. I'm a card shark, the slickest card player in the West. Here, have this crown as thanks for saving me.
As soon as I put on that crown, I grew up again and had 22 hearts. I also gained a pretty sweet dash attack. Thanks, Card Shark.
Did you both come to trouble to hide from sous chef? I do know a rumor that you might want to hear.
Are we sure we should trust this guy?
Let's hear him out before we judge him.
There's a legendary poisonous spice called the chef bane, which is said to ruin a cooking pot forever. If you sprinkled some of that stuff in her soup, she'd be forced to give up cooking. Then all the sharks would be safe.
Wow, and you're really telling the truth?
Trust me, kid, I know a thing or two.
Even though it had seemed hopeless before, I now believed that there was a way to stop sous chef for good. All I had to do was find that chef bane. On days 20 to 22, Hammerhead and I returned to our base and found it under attack by those same bandits we scared away in trouble. This time though, there was a whole lot more of them, and they were throwing dynamite.
This will teach you nasty sharks not to mess with us bandits.
Oh yeah? Well, we're gonna teach you nasty bandits not to mess with us sharks. Right, Hammer?
Right.
Hammerhead and I worked together and took on the bandits as a team. We fought hard against the crooks, but our teamwork was too much for them, and we took them out. I was feeling so inspired by our teamwork that I had an idea. I should add a statue to the base. Things were coming along nicely, and I made some good progress on the first part. You can sort of see what it might be. I'd need to add some blue materials to get the statue's color palette just right, so I started mining to see if I could find any lapis. It would be a long way down, but I had to start somewhere. Once I gathered some stone, I decided it was time to upgrade my pickaxe. So I returned back to the base, where I crafted a stone pickaxe, which would help me mine much more efficiently. And if you want to be more efficient in finding my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can find my channel easier. On days 23 to 26, Hammerhead and I teamed up again when our base was attacked by some super tough rock mobs. Uh-oh, those look like straddlers. We were able to defeat them, but their skin was so tough that a bunch of our teeth fell out.
Yo-yo, my teeth fell out.
Don't panic, friend. They'll grow back. As for the ones that fell out, I decided to craft a bow and make the lost teeth into shark tooth arrows. Time to go spider hunting. I hid in the desert with my dive ability and waited for some tarantulas to pass by. And when they least expected it, I jumped out and sniped all of them before they could even react. Now I can gather all the venom they dropped and make myself even more resistant to poison. I went back to the base and did just that. I had just enough time to drink another poison resistance potion before I heard someone outside asking if anyone was home. I answered it and saw that there was a frilled shark at the door.
Pardon me, is this arrow yours? I found it while I was hiding in the desert.
Yes, it is. Thanks for returning it.
Also, would you mind if I stayed here? I've got no home and there's a chef looking for me.
Of course you can. That same chef is looking for my friend and I too. We'll be safer if we stick together. I then added another floor to the base to make sure that frilled shark felt right at home. Then I added some guard towers next to the fence to make spotting incoming enemies easier. On days 27 to 31, I went back to the town of Trouble so I could get some more information out of the card shark. He was willing to do it, but only for a price.
I'll sell you this enchanted cookbook for some of your teeth. It'll tell you where you might find all sorts of ingredients, including the chef bane.
Just my teeth? You've got a deal, mister. I gave him a full set of shark teeth. In exchange, he gave me the cookbook. I opened it up and saw that one of the first locations listed inside was the Great Pyramid of Pizza. It appeared to be some kind of restaurant for rich mummies. I had a good feeling about what I could find there, so I swam off to the part of the sand sea where it could be found. When I arrived, I saw that the entrance to the Great Pyramid was guarded by a crypt keeper who was standing next to a sign that said no sharks allowed. Yeah, that's not gonna stop me. I fired some arrows from a distance to draw him away from the door. Then I dove beneath the sand so he wouldn't know where I was. When the crypt keeper was looking around confused, I sprung up from the sand and gave him a big bite. He hit me before running back towards the door, but with my dash attack, I was able to bite him again and get inside the pyramid before he could stop me. He tried to follow me in, but I dove into the pyramid blocks and disappeared. He eventually gave up and returned to guarding the entrance. On days 32 to 35, I entered the grand dining hall where the mummies were being served their pizza. I used my diving ability to sneakily make my way around the room. I was hiding under a table when I saw a flying fish on a platter. It looked like he was being served so raw that he was still alive. I decided to ask him if he knew anything. Excuse me, do you know anything about a spice called chef bane?
Yep, I've heard of it. Sure wish I had some of it right now, so I wouldn't get eaten.
Do you know where I can find some?
Quiet down. The celebrity chef is about to make her appearance.
Celebrity chef? Oh no! Sue Chef entered the dining hall and rang a bell to call everyone to attention. She had tarantula bodyguards with her.
Attention diners, I am Sue Chef, and I will be your celebrity chef this evening. Our special is...
She looked down and saw me under the table.
Shark soup! Get that rotten shark!
Yikes! Sue Chef and her tarantulas ran towards me, so I used a dash attack to catch her off guard. She struck back with her cooking knife and sliced away most of my hearts. I would be sashimi if I took another hit like that, so I decided to improvise. Actually, tonight's special is tarantula salad. The mummies hungrily turned towards the tarantula bodyguards and started to attack them.
No, it didn't! Stop this!
I made a break for the exit. I hate to dine and dash, but this time I had to. While I was on my way out, the flying fish flew after me.
Wait, take me with you. I'm a carnivore too.
That's good enough for me. Welcome to the team, Mr. Flying Fish. On days 36 to 39, I convinced the others to let the flying fish stay inside of our base with us. What do you say, fellow sharks?
I thought this base was only for sharks who are hiding from the chef.
He's a fish, and we're sharks. Won't he be afraid of us?
It's fine. He can eat the rabbits we've been farming, and we have plenty for all of us. Once that was settled, I went to my room and consulted the enchanted cookbook that I got from the card shark in order to search for a new location to travel to in my search for Chef's Bane. Let's see here. The Great Pyramid of Pizza was a dead end. Oh, maybe I'll have better luck in the Marshmallow Swamp. Me and Hammerhead then proceeded to do some more work on the statue. The design was really starting to come together, thanks to the lapis lazuli I had been mining. On days 40 to 43, I was on my way to the Marshmallow Swamp when I thought I saw another land shark nearby. Hello there, my name is Zozo. Do you need a place to hide? The mob that I thought was a shark turned around and I realized that he was actually a dolphin. A land dolphin.
I'm good, thanks. I was just in the area looking for a heart of the sea. It's a kind of treasure usually found in the ocean, but for some reason, they can also be found on land in this place. It's pretty odd,
said the land dolphin to the land shark.
Point is that I did find a treasure chest with a heart of the sea inside, but there was a terrifying mantis shrimp guarding it, so I chickened out. They're all yours if you're brave enough.
Thanks for the info, Dolphin. Best of luck in your travels. I went to the place where the dolphin said he found the chest, and sure enough, the mantis shrimp was right there. Mantis shrimps were known for their lightning-fast attacks, so I knew that I had to rely on my toughness. I launched a few arrows before dashing into battle and biting away. The mantis shrimp knocked me back with a powerful strike, which did 5 hearts worth of damage, but that left him wide open. I drank a health potion and attacked him while he was recharging his attack. I did this a few more times before the mob finally fell. Alright, the heart of the sea is all mine. The door to the treasure chest opened up and I rushed in. When I opened the treasure chest, there were some prismarine blocks inside, along with the heart of the sea. Once I collected them all, I used them to craft a new shield with some of my spare shark teeth. This shield of the deep could provide me with some defense, while also draining health from enemy mobs. On days 44 to 49, I made it to the Marshmallow Swamp. It definitely lived up to its name, as there were white marshmallow blocks floating all throughout it. I took a drink from the black water, and I realized that it was coffee. It gave me a temporary energy boost and increased the distance of my dash attack. There were a bunch of pink oozes jumping around the swamp, so I used them to test out both my enhanced dash and my shield of the deep. Once I was done cleaning up the slime squad, I heard a cry for help from the swamp. It was a platypus.
Help! I wanted a drink of coffee, but I started sinking.
Don't worry, I'll help you. I dove straight into the coffee and rescued the platypus before swimming both of us to shore. It was unusual for a land shark to be swimming in liquid, but I was very grateful that it all worked out.
I, Platric Platypus, owe you my life, Sir Shark.
Please, call me Zozo. I'm on a quest searching for a legendary spice called the Chef's Bane.
Chef's Bane, You've come to the right place. You may not know this, but we platypi are experts in all things poison.
You are?
Absolutely. We're venomous creatures too. Chef's Bane is the ultimate in poisonous ingredients, but you won't find any in this swamp. We'll need to go somewhere a lot more tropical. Follow me.
With that, Platric began to lead me out of the Marshmallow Swamp. I felt like I could trust him, so I decided to follow him. On days 50 to 53, Platric and I arrived in a tropical region south of the Marshmallow Swamp. I checked the inside of the cookbook and saw that this area was called the Banana Pepper Beach and was known for growing the spiciest peppers ever known.
Look alive, Sir Shark. We're on the lookout for a very special purple pepper, which is a key ingredient for Chef's Bane.
Purple pepper, Platric. I'll positively peek around every part of this place until I've pointed it out.
Say it, don't spray it.
We split up and searched for hints of the purple pepper. I ended up at the seashore. Wow, I just realized that I'm a shark who has never seen the ocean. I didn't have time to think about that because I noticed the Crypt Keeper from the Great Pyramid of Pizza running towards me. I guess I interrupted his vacation. We fought, but this time I had my shield. After a few hits, he realized his health was being drained and he ran away. He won't bother me again. A little later, Platric and I reunited. It seemed like neither of us had had any luck finding the purple pepper.
We'll keep trying, Sir Shark. In the meantime, have a potion of poison resistance. You'll want to be practically immune when we find it.
I gulped down the potion and felt its effect make me even stronger against poison. On days 54 to 57, I returned to base to make some improvements. After swimming in the coffee swamp, I was eager to turn the oasis pool into a more tropical habitat. So I planted some banana trees to spice up the place. With the trees in place, I decided that the pool needed a diving board, so I added that along with some decorations to make it feel far more relaxing. Now I'll be a land shark and a water shark, master of both worlds. Hammerhead, frilled, and flying fish all enjoyed using the diving board too. It seemed like the base was becoming more than just a hideout. It was our home, and we were family. Eventually, Frill came over and approached me.
Oh, hi Zozo.
Hey there, Frilled.
I noticed that you built the Shield of the Deep. It looks like it protects you really well, and I was hoping you could make me one too.
I would, but I need to go find another Heart of the Sea. Maybe the cookbook knows where I can find one. I returned to my room to look at the cookbook, but it wouldn't reveal the locations of the Hearts of the Sea. But it would let me know where more mantis shrimp were. It was just a hunch, but I decided to give it a shot. I made my way over to a nearby cave where I figured another mantis shrimp might be hiding. I managed to find another chest like the last one, but this time it wasn't even guarded. Lucky me! I looked inside, and there was another Heart of the Sea. Soon after, I crafted another Shield of the Deep and gave it to Frill.
Thank you, Zozo. Here, I have some serrated teeth I can spare. If you equip them, your bite attack will be able to drain health, just like the shield.
It's an incredible upgrade. Thanks, Frilled. You rule. I put those chompers in, and I could already feel more awesome. Or should I say, jawsome. On days 58 to 62, I was making some really great improvements to the statue. It's really starting to come together. Can you tell what it is yet? Just then, I noticed that the base was swarmed by tarantulas. The tarantula leader that I saw in the flashback was there as well, so it looked like this was a planned invasion. But how did they know where we were? I thought to myself and remembered the cookbook. Card Shark, he must have sold us out. Hammerhead was right not to trust him. I ran towards the base to help the others defend it. Frilled and I both had Shields of the Deep and draining bites, so we could restore our health even as we faced getting swarmed by tarantulas.
Oh no, this poison is taking a real toll on me.
Right, I forgot. I'm the only one immune to poison. Go get some honey and cure your poison, Frilled. I'll go help Hammerhead. Hammerhead was the one I was the most worried about. He wasn't immune to poison either, and on top of that, he didn't even have a shield. By the time I got to where he was, Hammerhead was being dragged away. Hammerhead! He called out to me while the spiders took him away.
Make sure Card Shark pays for this.
Don't worry, buddy. I will, and then we'll come save you. I was so afraid. There was nothing I could do. My best friend had just been kidnapped. On days 63 to 66, I returned to the Village of Trouble in order to get back at Card Shark for selling the rest of us out. I barged into the saloon where he usually hung out and saw him in the middle of a card game. He wouldn't be for long. Hey, Card Shark, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, well, if it isn't my old shark friend, I'm surprised to see you here and alive.
You know why I'm here. You betrayed us.
Now, remember the good times we had. I gave you that cookbook, remember?
Your cookbook didn't help me at all. All it did was lead me to a bunch of dead ends. The purple peppers to make Chef's Bane weren't even where they were supposed to be.
Of course they weren't. The Spider King already picked them all, so that no more Chef's Bane could be made. It was part of his deal with Sous Chef, and this is part of my deal with her.
He started throwing poker chips at me like arrows. I raised my shield and blocked them. Then I dashed in and gave the Card Shark a well-deserved bite.
Good one, but I'm tougher than that. I am a shark, same as you.
No, not anymore. He tried punching me, but I followed up with a harsh draining bite and defeated him. That was for Hammerhead. With Card Shark defeated, I left Trouble and followed the many footprints that tarantulas left in the sand. I hoped the Hammerhead was all right. I don't know what I'd do if he got turned into soup. On day 67 to 70, I tracked the tarantulas to Cobweb Castle. I knew that Hammerhead could be here, as well as the purple pepper ingredients needed to make Chef's Bane. There were a whole lot of tarantulas around, but I was a whole lot of shark, and their poison wouldn't work on me. I fought my way to the throne room and found Hammerhead restrained in a web.
Zozo, is that you?
Don't worry, Hammerhead. I'm coming to help you. I moved closer to the throne when suddenly the King of Spiders dropped down from the ceiling.
2 sharks for the price of 1. The boss is gonna be extra happy with me.
The boss is never gonna see you again, Spider King. Not unless you get out of our way.
Big talk for a silly little shark. Let's go.
I leaped at the King of Spiders and started biting his long, scary legs.
Ow! Is this what being bitten feels like? Can't believe I've been doing this for years.
The jagged shark teeth were too much for him. The Spider King ran off, leaving through a pathway. After that, I freed Hammerhead by shooting an arrow that destroyed the cobweb prison he was in. Hammerhead, let's check where the Spider King ran off to. Maybe the purple peppers are in there.
Good idea, Zozo.
From day 71 to day 74, Hammerhead and I entered the secret pathway that the Spider King had left through. On the inside, there was a creepy dungeon waiting for us.
Whoa, this place looks so spooky, Zozo. I don't want to spend too long here.
It'll be worth it if we can find the purple peppers and make the Chef's Bane, Hammerhead. But we were already too late. the purple peppers were gone, and there was a note from Sous Chef herself left in the empty dungeon.
You underestimate me and my minions, Zozo. Did you really think I'd just leave the purple peppers here? Silly little shark. Only a chef of my caliber would know what to do with such an ingredient. I'd say I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it's actually very funny to me. I'll see you at dinner, my dear.
Me and Hammerhead were devastated. All this work and risk for nothing.
It's okay, Zozo. At least you saved me. Let's go back to the base and figure out what to do next.
From day 75 to day 78, I brought Hammerhead back to the base. I didn't want any more spiders to invade us at night, so I put up a new layer of defense. Hopefully a little fire will scare those creeps away. That's when Hammerhead approached me and gave me an enchanted book. What's this, Hammerhead?
It's the sharpness enchantment, Zozo. It'll make your shark teeth extra sharp and dangerous.
Oh, heck yeah, just what I need. I went inside and applied the enchantment book to my teeth. And I got those extra sharp teeth just in time, because the king of spiders who narrowly escaped in the cobweb castle was back, and he meant business. Time to end this once and for all. As the king of spiders ran in, I lunged forward and chomped him. In one bite, he was finished off, and that made me level up. I grew into a land great white with 25 hearts and the water speed ability, which made me twice as fast in water. Even though I'm a land shark, this might come in handy later. But that wasn't the only thing that the king of spiders dropped. He also had a note, which I picked up and read. It must have come straight from Sous Chef.
Once Zozo has been destroyed, find the straddler in the forest. You know what to do.
I was starting to get really sick of reading notes from Sous Chef, but at least it could be a valuable lead. From day 79 to day 84, I searched the forest for the straddler. If he was somehow connected to Sous Chef, he might be able to give me some information. Straddler? Straddler? Hello? That's when the straddler emerged out of the forest, looking irritated.
Yeah, I'm the straddler. What's it to you?
I've heard that you might have something to do with Sous Chef, the villain trying to turn me and all my fishy friends into soup. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, of course I know about that. I've been trying to take her down for years. Maybe we can team up.
That sounds great.
But first, you see that cave next to me? I need you to grab a secret weapon I left inside.
I turned and saw a cave a few feet away, and there was a secret weapon inside? Perfect. I'll be right back, Straddler. I went into the deep, dark cave and was surprised to find inside was nothing. Could there have been some kind of mistake? I went back and saw the straddler standing in the mouth of the cave.
Sorry, kid. I worked for Sous Chef all along. You really shouldn't be so trusting.
He fired several arrows, and one of them even hit me. It was a tense moment, but I pulled out my own bow and fired back with even more accuracy. After a few arrows, the straddler was defeated, and I was alone in the cave. Whew, I really do need to be careful about who I can trust. On day 85 to day 89, I returned to the town of Trouble to meet somebody I thought I'd never need to talk to again. The card shark who, after I'd beaten him, was taken and locked up in the town jail. Thankfully, he was allowed visitors. I flopped down into the jail to see him.
Zozo, what the heck are you doing here? I didn't think you would ever want to see me again after what happened to your friends.
I figured after everything that happened between us, you owe me some information I can actually use.
I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
How'd you like it if I bit through the door of this cell and asked you a little closer?
Okay. What do you want to know?
Where can I find and defeat Sous Chef?
Find is one thought, defeat is another. You can find her in her kitchen on the Mushroom Island. But I warn you, Zozo, if you go to that island, you ain't coming back.
We'll see about that. This shark is never going into anybody's soup. And with that, I left the jail. There was no time to waste. From days 90 to 94, I worked on some new items and upgrades to my base. I can't take on Sous Chef without the best of the best of the best. I added a bunch of new upgrades to increase the effectiveness of my bow. The power enchantment, that increases damage, and the punch enchantment, which increased the knockback power of my arrows. Hope you like your food spicy, Sous Chef. And also, to give myself a little extra boost, I made myself a few potions. A potion of healing, a potion of regeneration, and a potion of swiftness. And sharks aren't exactly fast, but this should offset that. I'm sure to win now. On day 95 to day 97, I finished the statue, a giant blue land shark, just like me. I'm very happy about how it turned out.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It made me realize something. In all of my time here, I'd only seen a handful of other sharks. There used to be so many land sharks out there, but now, because of people like Sous Chef, they were all gone. I couldn't let Sous Chef wipe us out. I needed to protect the land shark legacy and give our people a future. I'm gonna take you down, Sous Chef. You've made your last shark soup. On day 98, it was time to prepare for the final battle. I gathered all my friends together, the hammerhead shark, the frilled shark, and the flying fish. Guys, this is it. I'm gonna fight for the freedom of sharks and all fish. If I don't come back, then find Sous Chef on the Mushroom Island and defeat her for me. That's when Hammerhead Shark, my oldest friend, stepped forward.
Wait up, Zozo. I'm not gonna let you go alone.
Hammerhead, it's dangerous. She's gonna try and turn us to soup.
That's exactly why I can't let you go alone. Let's go together and finally finish this thing.
On day 99, Hammerhead Shark and I swam across the ocean until we reached the Mushroom Island. Let's go, Hammerhead. No time to waste. The island was guarded by particularly creepy creatures, mutant spider pigs. They spotted us and started to crawl towards us.
What are we gonna do, Zozo?
Don't worry, Hammerhead. I have a special weapon. I pulled out my fully upgraded bow and started firing, knocking back the mutant spider pigs. Look at that! I'm biting you without even touching you! Ha!
Zozo, over here! I found some prisoners!
I went to where Hammerhead was and saw that he had found a cage full of blobfish that Sous Chef had captured. You help them get back to the base, Hammerhead. I'm gonna defeat Sous Chef once and for all.
Good luck, Zozo. I believe in you.
On day 100, I continued alone across the Mushroom Island, looking for Sous Chef and her evil lair. Along the way, even more mutant spider pigs started rushing towards me. I used my upgraded bow to quickly dispatch them and clear the way. Will you guys get out of the way? I'm looking for your boss. After defeating the last few mutant spider pigs, I saw a secret chest on the island, with a sign next to it saying, Secret Ingredients. Hey, that sounds useful. I searched through the chest until I found a bottle labeled Potion of Evolution. I immediately added it to my inventory and kept moving. Soon enough, I found Sous Chef's true lair. She'd mined a huge crater into the ground and filled it with lava. It was the ultimate soup boiling pot, and Sous Chef was there, throwing ingredients in.
Welcome, Zozo. You're just in time. I've been working on the ultimate soup, but it's been missing something. I think it could really use a little shark to really make it pack a punch.
Oh, I'm here to pack a punch, Sous Chef, but it won't be in your soup. Sous Chef started to laugh at me, and as she laughed, she grew bigger and more powerful. She also equipped a huge diamond sword. This must have been her final form.
Big talk, but nothing to back it up. You don't even have the chef's bane. How could you possibly stop me?
Things have changed, Sous Chef. I used to want the chef's bane. Now, I am the chef's bane. I remembered my friends and got a surge of power and started to grow and change. I wasn't a land shark anymore. I was Land Megalodon, the biggest and most powerful shark in history, with 30 hearts. You wanted shark? I'll give you more shark than you can handle. I lunged at her. She tried to hit me with her diamond sword, but her sword was nothing compared to my razor-sharp Megalodon teeth.
Ouch! I was meant to eat you. You're not meant to eat me.
She tried to hit me, but I kept lunging forward and biting her. Sous Chef was stumbling backwards, losing her balance. You look a little tense, Sous Chef. Why not take a dip and cool off? With one more push from me, Sous Chef fell backwards and landed in her own soup. She was finally finished. I threw the Potion of Evolution into the fiery pit, which caused it to level up and change into obsidian. Now no shark will ever be cooked here again. With Sous Chef gone, I returned back to my base, where the hammerhead shark, the frilled shark, the flying fish, and the blobfish were waiting for me. Want to head out for a meal to celebrate our victory?
Sure, anything but soup.
On day 1, I spawned into the jungle as Ant-Man, everyone's favorite size-shifting superhero. Whoa, this is awesome! I've always wanted to be able to shrink down really tiny. Hold on a minute, why is my suit not working? Darn it, I must be out of Pym particles. I wasn't sure how I managed to get here or where here even was. Everything around me looked like it was normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Why isn't my shrinking tech working? Maybe there's something I can do to fix it. Just then, I heard the crawling of a lot of legs and turned around to see a spider. It was huge, way bigger than any I had ever seen before. Something weird was definitely going on here. Whoa, aren't you a little big? Then there came the horrible noise of something whirring loudly, and it was coming closer and closer. I could see a huge, vicious-looking creature coming straight towards me. It looked like a huge head with much smaller arms.
Well, isn't that the question of the day? Are you sure it's not you who's a little smaller than normal?
Huh, that is a good question. I suppose I don't feel any smaller than I normally do, but then, if I was, how would I know?
Why don't I save you the trouble then? You are indeed much smaller than normal, and it was by my hand that you were shrunk down to a more manageable size.
Hey, that hardly seems fair. You can't just go around shrinking people. Who the heck are you, anyway?
I am MODOK. Cower before me, Zozo, for you're trapped here in my miniverse.
Miniverse? Oh no, like a tiny universe?
Precisely. Here, I'm in charge. Nothing is its normal size, and now you're trapped here. But let's give you a challenge, shall we? If you can make it out of the miniverse within 100 days, I'll let you go free. But if not, then you'll be trapped in my tiny world forever. And you think getting out will be easy? Think again!
Suddenly, MODOK unleashed a blast of energy that burned the huge spider to a crisp. I had to get to cover so I didn't get blasted too, but it was too late for the poor spider. Yeesh, talk about having a big head. On day 2, I tried to find my way out of this crazy jungle I was in. The trees were so dense that I could hardly see a clear path in front of me. On top of that, I realized I only had 5 hearts, so I had to be careful. If I ran into MODOK again, or any other dangers in his miniverse, then I'd be in serious trouble. Just then, I overheard a loud, angry buzzing sound. When I followed it, I stumbled across a group of enormous tarantula hawks. They were way bigger than normal insects, just like the spider had been. Oh man, these are some nasty looking bugs. Maybe I can communicate with them.
Well, look what's buzzing, my bug bros. A lost little superhero with no powers. This is the one Master MODOK trapped here. Come on, let's get him. Destroying him will win us a lot of points with our master.
They attacked me. I quickly noticed I had a bow in my inventory and used it to try and fend them off. But at my size, I wasn't able to do much damage at all. Plus, I was outnumbered. No, I can't die. Not yet. I still have to find my way out of this miniverse. But then, right as I needed help, someone came rushing out of the trees and fended off the tarantula hawks. It looked like it had the body of a bee, but with huge arms and legs like a person. What the heck was going on in this place?
Hey, are you all right? You should really be careful out here.
Thanks for saving me. What's your name?
You can call me Harlow, the honey golem. What's yours?
Well, technically, I'm meant to be Ant-Man, but I don't have any powers, so I guess I'm just Zozo. On day 3, Harlow brought me to his hive, where there were even more honey golems just like him. They were living in a cave and had built themselves an entire community underground. Wow, I've never met any honey golems before.
We were created in one of MODOK's experiments. That big head of his houses a pretty big brain. He's been using this miniverse to perform all kinds of crazy experiments on the innocent insects and creatures here. We started out like normal bumblebees, but now we're monsters.
Hey, I don't think you're monsters. You saved me from those mean tarantula hawks. Harlow explained that MODOK had been causing havoc all over the miniverse with his mad scientist experiments. I told him that I needed to find my way out of there before my 100 days were over.
You need to get out of here, I understand, but you're going to need some help if you have any chance of escaping the miniverse. So how about I tag along to assist you?
Wow, thank you so much, Harlow. But wait, how are you gonna help me get out of here?
Well, let me cut you a deal. You want to be freed from the miniverse, and I want the miniverse to be free from MODOK. So, how about we team up? I'll come with you. It can be dangerous, but I know my way around, so I can navigate and provide protection. And in return, you can build up your strength so we can stop MODOK's schemes. Once that's done, I'm sure we'll find a way to get you out of here. What do you say?
Okay, sure. If we can take down that big-headed bad guy and get me out of here, then that would be amazing.
Then we better get to it. MODOK is ruthless, and he's left plenty of his experiments running wild out there. They'll do anything he wants.
So Harlow and I headed out as a team. On days 4 through 5, we made a start on gathering some resources and building up my strength for the fight ahead. I punched some trees and gathered enough wood to make a crafting bench. Afterwards, I made myself a set of wooden tools. Then, Harlow showed me a cave where I could mine for cobblestone, and then I used that to craft a set of stone tools as quickly as possible. Harlow and I then explored a bit and eventually found a spot where we could build our base on. We were pretty far from the Honey Golem's underground city, so I built a room for both Harlow and I to stay in using the materials I had been gathering. It's not exactly the Avengers Tower or the Baxter Building, but it's a start at least. Hopefully, we won't have any trouble from MODOK and his experiments bothering us while we're here. Just as I had finished up, Harlow brought some food that he'd managed to find for us. He wasn't kidding. He really knew his way around the miniverse. I ate some, and when I did, I quickly gained 10 hearts for a total of 15 hearts.
Look at that! You got a little bigger too.
At this rate, I'll be tough enough to take on MODOK in no time.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet, but I'm sure you'll get your chance soon.
With our new base already, night was beginning to fall, so Harlow and I settled in for some much-needed sleep. On days 6 through 8, Harlow and I went exploring, searching for some more materials to craft new items and maybe even upgrade our base. Harlow led the way as we headed back towards the jungle area, being careful we didn't run into any more of those awful tarantula hawks, or something even worse. Soon, we found a jungle spider who was being terrorized by creepers. At first, we thought they were just normal creepers, but there was something wrong about them. They had longer, freakier legs. They were mutants, made during one of MODOK's mad experiments. Hey, leave that spider alone! They didn't listen, so I started firing arrows at them using my bow. I scored a few direct hits, and it angered the mutant creepers. Luckily for me though, Harlow had my back, so as they came charging at us, we were ready for a battle. Even with my weapons and Harlow's strength combined, our fight with the mutant creepers was still a tough one. They were much stronger than your average creepers. But with a few well-placed shots, and with Harlow's strength, we were eventually able to overpower them before they managed to explode. We went to check that the spider was okay.
Thank you both for your help. My name is Jupe, the jungle spider.
Whoa, spiders can talk here.
What do you mean?
Harlow, you mean you can't hear Jupe? Oh, of course, my Ant-Man helmet. It must be allowing me to talk with bugs.
I hate to ask, but there's another of MODOK's experiments nearby. I'm far too weak to fight it, but maybe you could beat the beastly thing?
Leave it to me.
Zozo, you guys go on ahead. I'm going to go back to the base to collect some more supplies.
On days 9 to 10, I followed Jupe back to where she had last seen the Mad MODOK's evil experiment. After a fair bit of searching, we found ourselves at what was left of Jupe's spider nest, with a massive mutant earth elemental roaming nearby.
That's the monster. It destroyed my home.
Jupe was understandably upset, but unfortunately had caught the elemental's attention by accident. The creature spotted us almost immediately and instantly started making its way towards us, ready to attack. Oh no, I really wish we hadn't left Harlow back at the base. While Jupe scurried off to hide, I pulled out my sword and took a swing at the earth elemental. I could barely leave as much as a scratch. It was way too powerful, and I was still too weak to fight it. Before I could get overwhelmed, I ran as fast as I could, only stopping when I met up with Jupe. We'll have to come back when I'm stronger. Maybe if I can fix the suit, I can grow to a giant size and stomp him.
I'm sure you will, but in the meantime, what should I do? I have nowhere to go now that this monster has ruined my home.
Well, for the time being, you're welcome to stay at my base with me and Harlow. On days 11 to 12, I made my way back to my base with Jupe beside me. I quickly built her a room where she could spin some new webs to make herself nice and comfy.
Thank you for coming to help me, and for taking me in, Ant-Man. Most people would see a spider my size and be terrified.
That's okay. I'm glad I can understand you through this helmet. How did you get to that size? Did it have anything to do with MODOK?
Oh, MODOK, that horrible madman. He's been toying with everything here in this miniverse. He alters sizes, creates new creatures whenever he feels like it, then abandons them if they won't fight for him. We'll never be at peace until someone puts an end to his schemes.
Sounds like a job for me. After I had talked with Jupe, I went out and mined for some more materials. I hadn't had a chance to gather anything since fighting the elemental. I managed to come across iron and coal, so I made a furnace to smelt the iron and crafted some iron tools and boots. After all that work, nighttime was approaching, so I had to move quickly if I wanted to take advantage of the last moments of daylight. Walking a short way from my base, I found gravel and began to dig for flint, then kept that in my inventory. On days 13 to 15, I was feeling eager to get stronger and to see if I could get my powers back, so I spoke to Harlow for his advice.
Well, I only became this strong because of MODOK's experiments. But you should probably try training. I hear that's what a lot of superheroes do. Practice does make perfect, after all.
I guess that's worth a shot. I then went out in search of some of MODOK's lower-level cronies to fight. After a bit of traveling, I ended up finding myself in a forest. There were strange creatures flying about in the air, and they were a lot smaller than most other mobs I had seen. But what these dark leeches lacked in size, they made up for in numbers. Okay then, let's take you on. I launched into an attack, wielding an iron sword I had crafted. The dark leeches swarmed me, but I knew that the best way to attack them was up close. They were too small for me to pick off from a distance with my bow and arrows. They were fast, but each one could be slashed down with ease. I just had to be careful not to get bitten by any of them. After a lot of swinging my sword about, I managed to defeat the swarm of dark leeches and come away victorious. The dead leeches dropped some healing potions. Whoa, now this should definitely come in handy. I used the healing potions, and to my surprise, it caused me to gain a few more hearts. Well, I guess that just happened. On days 16 to 19, after beating those dark leeches, I decided to go off exploring a bit more to keep building my strength up. During my travels, I stumbled upon a village, but when I went to take a closer look, there was nobody around to be seen. I searched all the buildings. However, none of the villagers were in their homes. I wonder what happened here. Where did everybody go?
You should not have come here.
Ah, you scared me. It was the ghost of an ordinary villager. No wonder I couldn't find anyone here. Something bad must have happened to them.
It is not safe here. You must leave while you still can.
What do you mean? What happened to you?
We were living peacefully here until MODOK came into this miniverse. He took the people of this village to use in his experiments.
He's a monster!
In his madness, he tried to create a creature that was powered by anger that would get stronger the more enraged it became. But the experiment went wrong, and the creature ransacked our town. This is why you must leave. It's still here.
Wait, a creature powered by anger? That sounds a lot like the Hulk. Suddenly, a villager beast came bursting through the roof to ambush me. The ghost vanished in fear while I rushed outside and took out my weapons, ready for a fight. The beast wasn't as strong as I was expecting, but we were still pretty evenly matched. It was looking like I might need to run away again. That is, until the ghost appeared again and helped distract the beast.
Quick, while his back is turned.
Zozo smash! With a big swing of my sword, I put an end to the villager beast, and the battle was done! Whew, thanks for the help! On days 20 through 22, I was heading back to my base. On the way, I kept my superhero training going by fighting a few zombies that I came across. I took them out with ease, like they were nothing. Harlow was right. Practice does make perfect, and I'm definitely improving. As I got closer to the base, I gathered some extra iron, which I held onto. I'd be able to improve my gear with it once I made it home. I finally arrived and smelted the ore I found into ingots. I then crafted some iron armor and an iron shield to defend myself in future battles, alongside with a new sword since mine was about to break. Well, if a shield works for Captain America, then it'll work for me. Starting to feel a lot more confident with my superhero skills, as well as my newly crafted tools and weapons, I decided to pay a visit to an old enemy. Jupe, I'm gonna go and teach that Earth Elemental a thing or two about what happens when you mess with innocent spiders' nests. I made my way back to the ruins of Jupe's old nest, and that's where I found the Elemental waiting for me. It immediately charged directly at me, swinging his huge rocky fist as he tried to hit me. I blocked with my new shield, but his attack stunned me, making it difficult to keep my health up or move out of the way. Luckily, Harlow had given me plenty of food to bring with me, and my armor protected me from each of the elemental's blows too. He continued to swing at me, but I had already taken down the villager beast. This was just another of MODOK's experiments. Waiting for the perfect opportunity, I landed the perfect hit and managed to defeat the Earth Elemental, causing him to burst into rocky smithereens. Woohoo! Among the stone remains of the Elemental was a note, so I picked it up to take a closer look. It was an order from MODOK.
Don't let that no-good hero find where we've stashed the PIM particles. If If he finds out where they are, he'll be able to use them to power his suit. We can't have him shrinking down to sneak out of the miniverse or growing bigger than a house. He'd wipe us all out in no time. Whatever happens, stall him. Keep him away from the particles.
Of course, MODOK's the reason why I can't get my Ant-Man suit to work. I can keep getting stronger, but without Pym particles, I can't use my powers. So I guess the question is, where do I start looking? From day 23 to day 26, I returned back to my base to give Jupe the jungle spider the good news. Jupe, I did it! I defeated the elemental that had ruined your home. You can go back anytime you like now, though of course, you're always welcome to stay here too.
That's so wonderful to hear, Zozo. I think I'll stay to help you until MODOK is defeated. Then I'll return to my true home. All thanks to you.
Feeling good after helping Jupe, I made myself a flint and steel. This will be perfect for making campfires. After that, I spent some time building a strong perimeter wall around my base. That'd help keep out the mobs at night. From day 27 to day 31, I decided to venture out into the desert to continue my search for the Pym particles. Without them, I'd never have any hope of defeating MODOK. While out in the desert, I ran into a Pterodon. Hey, sorry to bother you, but would you happen to know where I could find some Pym particles around here?
Pym particles, I can't tell you exactly where to find them, but I have some theories. I'm actually an advanced particle scientist, and I wrote my thesis on Pym particles.
Oh wow, that actually sounds like super valuable knowledge. Want to come stay at my base and work on this together? I'm Zozo, by the way.
I'm Frank, and sure, I'll take you up on that offer.
As Frank headed back, I decided to mine some sand blocks that I could take back to base. When I arrived again, I turned the sand blocks into grass blocks and used them to create windows in my base. That should get a little light on the situation, but I didn't get to enjoy my new windows for long. Harlow the honey golem ran towards me, looking panicked.
Zozo, I need your help. I just got word there's been an attack on my underground community.
What? We better go immediately. From day 32 to day 35, Harlow and I ran straight to the caves that protected the underground community of honey golems. The cave was crawling with giant, vicious centipedes, a type of aggressive mutant centipede created in MODOK's evil laboratory. Don't worry, everyone, we're here to help. Keep away from the centipedes. But we had arrived a little too late. There were so many centipedes, and even though we tried our best to fight them all off, sadly we spotted no honey golems inside. Hopefully some escaped. Harlow and I worked together to defeat the rest of the centipedes, but the damage was already done. I'm so sorry, Harlow. I wish we could have done more.
We must defeat MODOK, Zozo. We can't let him get away with this.
From day 36 to day 39, I needed to get away from my base. After the incident in the caves, I had trouble even looking Harlow in the eye. Instead, I went out to the swamp, seeing if I could find any interesting materials out there. While searching, I met a joust who needed a favor.
Hey, stranger. Jerry's the name. Being a joust is my game. Now, I don't want to impose, but my little swamp shack is surrounded by crocodiles. If you were to help scare those chompy critters away, I'd give you something in return.
There is something I need. Do you happen to know anything about MODOK?
MODOK? Oh, me and that guy go way back. We went to Miniverse College together. He's always been a huge meanie. If you scare off those crocodiles, I'll tell you what I know.
Deal. I went further into the swamp until I found Jerry the Joust's shack, which was surrounded by vicious crocodiles. I pulled out my sword and ran in, swinging and flailing. Get out of here, crockies! Go on, get! Once the crocodiles had been defeated, I returned to Jerry the Joust and asked him what he knew about MODOK.
He acts like he's confident, but believe me, the guy's real insecure. He's only as strong as the monsters working with him. If you're able to become strong enough and get him alone, that's your best chance at defeating him.
From day 40 to day 43, I decided I'd spend some more time sprucing up the base. Seeing as I was spending so much time there, I should at least make it look nice. I spent most of my time working in the yard. I put in some nice trees and flowers that really livened up the whole base. Who'd have thought I'd have such a green thumb? After that, Harlow approached me and told me that there were a lot of honey golems who needed a place to stay after the centipedes destroyed the underground town. Of course, I invited them all to come stay with us, and even built some extra rooms onto the base so they'd all have a place to stay. That's when Frank the Pterodon came to me with some exciting news.
Zozo, I've been doing some research, and I got a lead on some potential PIM particles out in the Badlands.
That's awesome! To the Badlands I go! From day 44 to day 49, I went out to the Badlands in search of the PIM particles that could give me my powers back. Instead, I found MODOK and one of the freakiest looking minions in his roster, the floating, bug-eyed Beholder!
Looking for PIM particles, Zozo?
As a matter of fact, I am. So if you'd kindly step out of my way, I'm gonna keep searching.
Oh, I'll save you the job. I have them.
What?
I already took the particles, and I'm going to use them in my experiments. They'll give me the power to create even larger, more dangerous monsters. And monsters so tiny, you won't even see them until they get you. The Miniverse will be my personal playground, and then I'll fan out and take over the entire multiverse.
I'll never let you get away with it.
That isn't up to you, Zozo. Beholder, destroy him. I'm going back to the lab.
MODOK flew away, leaving only me and the Beholder. I pulled out my sword and tried to hide my fear as the terrifying monster flew towards me. Maybe we can just talk it out? From day 50 to day 53, I started fighting the Beholder because, as it turns out, he did not want to just talk it out. He was fast and strong, but thankfully I was able to use all the skills I learned so far to gain an advantage. I lost a few hearts along the way, but the Beholder was eventually defeated. Jeez, I hope I never have to see another one of those again. While I was still resting after the fight, I noticed that the fallen Beholder had dropped something. A notebook marked Book of Research, written by MODOK. That's perfect. Maybe it can give me some inside information. The inside of the book read,
Without the PIM particles, my research is coming up short. But soon I'll be able to take it all to the next level. When I have the particles, the first thing I'll do is take the smallest threat and make it into the biggest one. Then unleash it on those hapless fools in the mountains.
The mountains? That's where my base is. I need to get back there immediately. From day 54 to day 57, I ran back to the mountain as fast as I could, ready to head off whatever monster that MODOK had unleashed. And the last thing I could have expected was a giant enterophage rampaging through the mountains. Its size must have been massively enhanced by PIM particles. I don't even want to know what kind of ender flu that monster would give you. I tried to attack its legs, but that didn't seem to have any effect. Its head was its only weakness, but I didn't know how to get at it. And what's more, from the direction it was heading, it was going straight towards my base. Think, Zozo, think! Wait, I have an idea! I ran ahead of the giant enterophage's path and started desperately digging a pit into the ground. As the giant enterophage approached, it fell into the pit, putting its head at eye level with me. Time to cure this walking virus. With one strike of my sword, the giant enterophage was defeated, and it dropped some PIM particles into the pit. At long last, they were mine. I collected the particles and went straight back to my base, where I figured Frank the Pterodon would know what to do with them.
You found the PIM particles. This is amazing.
So can I use them to change my size?
No, not yet. Leave them with me, Zozo. I'll refine them and get them ready for use. You'll be ready to take the fight to MODOK in no time.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided that it was time to refine my base and gear a little more and put all my new scientific skills to good use. I started by making Frank a scientific lab so he could help me more efficiently. After that, I did improvements to my room, adding more chests and forges and making it feel more fit for me. It's like having my own little laboratory. Think Pim would be so proud. Then, I made my way to a nearby diamond mine and took all the diamonds I collected back to the crafting room so I could upgrade my gear. I made a full set of diamond armor to help protect the fragile technology of my suit and a diamond sword to help me pack a punch. But even though my equipment had never been cooler, my base was looking a little gloomy. To spruce it up, I added some new couches so me and the boys could relax. This has got to be the coolest base in the Miniverse now! From day 63 to day 66, Harlow the honey golem approached me at the base with a cool idea.
Zozo, I think it's important to get as many allies as we can when fighting MODOK. We have no idea how many mutants and monsters he's created out there, so we need to get a team of our own.
That's a really good point, Harlow. Where do you think would be a good place to look for more allies?
Try the forest. I bet MODOK's goons have hassled a lot of creatures up there. they'll probably be eager to sign up.
Harlow was right. I needed to leave the base and venture over to the forest where I could find new potential team members for our anti-MODOK movement. But the forest was way bigger than I thought, so I was searching for a whole day without finding anything. I hope this whole thing wasn't a waste of time. I can't afford to waste any of my 100 days to get out of the miniverse. My thoughts were interrupted by a huge figure running through the forest towards me, a Polypham. I pulled out my sword in a panic and prepared for a fight, but the Polypham stopped. He wasn't here to fight me.
Please, kind stranger, my name is Peter, and I was playing with my son out in the forest when suddenly a monster attacked and took him. I need help to save my son. Will you help me?
Of course I'll help you, Peter. I'm Zozo. You lead the way. From day 67 to day 70, I followed Peter Polypham deep into the dark forest. It didn't take long for us to find exactly what we were looking for. Peter's son, a baby Polypham, being chased around the forest by a scary, buzzing, warped Moscow. That looks exactly like one of MODOK's experiments.
MODOK?
He's the supervillain that made all the mutant creatures around here. Stand back, Peter. I'll take care of this one. I pulled out my sword and ran in, getting the warped Moscow's attention and distracting him from attacking Peter's son. The nasty mutant attacked me, and we started to fight. Didn't anyone ever teach you not to pick on kids, Moscow? Every time he hit me with his powerful Moscow arms, I could feel my health going down, but I needed to keep fighting for Peter and his son's sake. It was a hard battle, but in the end, the warped Moscow was defeated, and father and son were together again.
You did me and my son a great service, Zozo. One day, in your hour of need, I will repay you for this.
No problem, man. It's just what heroes do. From day 71 to day 74, still feeling good about helping Peter and his son, I continued my search through the forest. I really do love going on adventures, and if you love going on adventures, like, subscribe, and search Zozo for more videos from me. Ooh, is that an abandoned mine? I approached an abandoned mine deep in the forest. I didn't expect to make any friends down there, but I figured I would at least be able to mine for some useful materials. I'm always making the best out of a weird situation. But in that abandoned mine, I didn't find any decent materials. I found MODOK himself, waiting for me.
You've fallen into my trap, you pathetic, teeny tiny Ant-Man. The only thing tinier than you is your brain.
Well, my brain would have to be tinier than me, or it wouldn't fit in my body.
Silence, fool!
MODOK was angry that I made him look dumb, so he fired an energy blast at me. He missed, and I ran back at him with my diamond sword. But when I hit him, nothing happened. What?
Force field technology, son. It protects me in response to trauma. You'd need to be a lot bigger and stronger than that to even put a scratch on me.
And with that, MODOK laughed and teleported away. I still wasn't nearly big or strong enough to defeat him. From day 75 to day 78, I returned to my base, feeling glum after not being able to defeat MODOK yet again. Maybe if I make some defenses, that'll make me feel better. I decided to create a few guardhouses so that I would feel more at ease, and my friends would be able to seek refuge on whatever side of the base they happened to be at. Building is so cool. As if on cue, Frank the Pterodon approached me.
I agree, Zozo, and it's thanks to some good, old-fashioned science that I've finally been able to refine these PIM particles and upgrade your suit so that it can do what it always should have done.
You mean I'll be able to change size now? I won't just be a mini Ant-Man?
Exactly, Zozo. Give it a whirl.
I activated my refined PIM particles and felt myself growing to my proper height, at long last, complete with double the hearts. It feels good to be back, Frank. From day 79 to day 84, seeing as I was back to my full strength, I wanted to go and settle some old scores. First, I went deep into the jungle and encountered some old enemies, some of the tarantula hawks that were bothering me and my friends when I was tiny.
Hey, look, it's the Pipsqueak. Oh, wait, he doesn't seem like such a Pipsqueak anymore.
Thank you for noticing. I fought the tarantula hawks who had once been such a challenge with my new strength and my diamond sword. Within a few minutes, they were all defeated. I went on the rest of my journey with my head still high. On my travels, I ran into a mad scientist doing some research deep in the jungle.
Hello there, I'm Mike, the local mad scientist. I'm conducting a wildlife survey. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm Zozo. Nice to meet you, Mike. I've just been testing out my new PIM particles. They help me change my size at will. I can get bigger or smaller.
That sounds fascinating. Would you mind telling me more about this for my research?
Not at all. I spoke to Mike the mad scientist for a while, explaining to him exactly how the particles worked and how my suit used them. All the while, he looked super interested and made notes. In the end, he was so thankful he gave me an enchantment he'd crafted that would increase the damage of my sword. My luck looked like it was finally turning around. From day 85 to day 89, my luck turned around again, for the worst. I returned to my base, only to find it being attacked by a gang of water elementals working for MODOK. I just can't catch a break around here. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran into fight. I didn't want to use the full power of my Pym particles just yet, because I knew I'd need them to take on MODOK himself. So I fought the water elementals the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna make you regret trying to destroy my base. I defeated most of them, but a bunch of water elementals started to make a run for it, and I chased after them. I didn't want any of them to get away after this. But while I was running, I saw a distressed-looking Catoblopas standing in the distance, trying to get my attention.
Stranger, please, I need your help. My friend, little Kato, is stuck in that really tall tree. I'm worried he's gonna fall and hurt himself.
Don't worry, I can help. I used my Pym particles to get a lot bigger. Due to my size, the little Kato was confident enough to jump towards me and landed safely.
Thank you, Zozo.
No problem. And with that, I continued the chase. From day 90 to day 94, I chased the gang of water elementals until they were forced to stop at a ravine. Nowhere to run, guys. Now we have to fight, and I think I'm owed a little payback. Without a second's hesitation, I started fighting the water elementals. One by one, I defeated them until only one remained. He was unusually good at taking my hits, even with a diamond sword. I don't understand. How are you so tough? Before he even replied, he punched me so hard, I lost some of my hearts.
Naive little Ant-Man. I'm not just any water elemental. I'm one of MODOK's greatest experiments. The angrier I get, the stronger and faster I become. And believe me, you got me pretty angry, Ant-Boy.
And just like that, I knew I was in for the biggest fight of my life so far. From day 95 to day 97, my battle with the water elementals continued. He was the strongest and fastest enemy I'd ever faced, and as he got angrier, his skills increased.
Face it, Zozo, you're outmatched. I'm going to crush you like an ant.
I clearly couldn't defeat him like this. I needed a new strategy, but how could I defeat someone who got tougher as they got angrier? Wait, I have it! I needed to calm down. That way, he'd be weak enough to lose. I just needed to calm him down. Water elemental, imagine rainbows and puppies.
I don't know what you're trying to do, Ant-Boy, but it won't work.
Think about calming waterfalls and the smell of fresh-cut grass. Think about relaxing at the end of the day and watching your favorite TV show.
No, how dare you? You can't do this to me. I'm getting calmer.
Think about getting to sleep in late on a Saturday. Think about getting a massage and drinking some herbal tea. Think about meditating in the middle of a meadow filled with dandelions.
Blast it! I've never felt so calm.
I finally used my Pym particles in combat, becoming tiny and attacking the water elemental with great speed, making me even stronger. It only took one hit like that, and the water elemental was pushed into a corner. He dropped something. It looked like a map. Wait, is this a map directly to MODOK's secret laboratory? Why would you even have this on you? You work for the guy.
I have a terrible sense of direction, okay? But it doesn't matter. You may have defeated me, but you'll never defeat MODOK. He's got the biggest brain in the miniverse.
Yeah, and the smallest heart. I'm gonna defeat MODOK if it's the last thing I do. And with that, the water elemental vanished. On day 98, after defeating all the water elementals and finding out the location of MODOK's secret laboratory, I returned to my base to speak with my friends, Harlow the honey golem, Jupe the jungle spider, and Frank the Pterodon. Friends, it's time. I need to defeat MODOK once and for all. I want to thank you for all the help you've given me, but even if I win, this might be goodbye, because I'll need to leave the miniverse. Harlow spoke up first.
Zozo, you've helped me through some tough times. When my people's homes were destroyed by MODOK, you were there for me. So after you've taken him down, I wish you luck in whatever comes next.
Then Jupe, the jungle spider.
You're one of the most heroic people I've ever met, Zozo. You may be an Ant-Man, but you've got the heart of a jungle spider, and I mean that as the highest compliment I can give.
And of course, Frank the Pterodon.
You're not just a hero, Zozo, but a brilliant scientist. I believe you've gained all the knowledge and skills you need to defeat that big-headed monster. All you need to do now is believe in yourself.
On day 99, with everything prepared, I decided to make my way to MODOK's evil laboratory so I could stop the dastardly villain and escape the miniverse once and for all. Using my refined PIM particles in my fully upgraded suit, I decided to make myself incredibly tiny so none of MODOK's guards would spot me. On the way there, I ran into a cockroach who was about the same size as me in my shrunken form. Hey, Mr. Cockroach, hope you're having a good day. I'm on my way to defeat a supervillain.
The name's Carl, my friend, and I wish you luck in your quest. Defeating a supervillain sounds like a pretty cool thing for you to do.
I continued on my quest until I reached the laboratory, but as could probably be expected, it was surrounded by sentinels, powerful mutant zombies created by MODOK's evil experiments. Maybe they won't see me if I'm tiny, but what if they do? I don't know if I could take them all on at once. Then I heard big, thundering footsteps coming towards me, and I turned to see Peter Polypham.
Maybe I can be of service.
Peter, have you come to help me?
Sure have, Zozo. You helped me save my kid, so now I'm gonna help you stop your supervillain. I'll distract those doofy mutant zombies. You head in there, and you bring the big boss down.
You got it, Peter. Let's end this thing. On day 100, I ran past the gang of mutant zombies while Peter Polypham distracted them and entered MODOK's evil laboratory. The big-headed bad guy himself was waiting for me as soon as I came in. It's over, MODOK. I know your plans, but they won't do you any good now. I have the PIM particles and my suit is fully operational. If I was you, I'd just give up.
But you're not me, Zozo. I'm a genius, a visionary scientist. You're just a goofball who likes to dress up like a bug. If you were truly smart, you'd be able to see the value in what I'm doing here.
All I see is an evil guy who's hurting people to benefit himself. And if you can't see that, then I guess we better just get this over with. I prepared to size shift into an even tinier version of myself when MODOK blasted me with some kind of shockwave that blocked my powers.
Too bad, so sad. Mutated zombies, take care of him.
A bunch of MODOK's mutated zombies came running out to attack me. Of course, a coward like him wouldn't want to fight for himself. I'm ready. I'll take you all on. I pulled out my diamond sword and attacked before they attacked me. Thanks to my upgraded suit and diamond armor, it's not like they could do much damage to me anyway. Soon enough, every single one of them was defeated. It was just me and MODOK.
You still can't defeat me. Do you really think you have any hope at defeating my power and my genius, you puny little Ant-Man?
Puny? Is that what you're calling me? I activated my PIM particles and started to grow. It didn't take long for me to tower over MODOK with my new giant size. How about now, MODOK?
Oh no!
With one more strike from my giant size, MODOK was defeated! Finally, after 100 days of struggle, I could leave the miniverse. On day 1, I was laying in the sand. I stood up to find I was a person stranded on the beach of an ocean world. Whoa, this is a crazy place. I wonder who I am. It looks like maybe I'm a sailor who got stranded around here. But I didn't have time to think about who I was because a freaky-looking drowned came crawling out of the ocean and shambling towards me across the beach. Stay back, I don't want any trouble.
You survived the wreck. The King of the Deep won't be happy. We can't deny him his catch.
King of the Deep? What are you talking about? I don't understand.
Then let me help you understand. It'll all make more sense underneath the water. It's so inviting.
The drowned started walking towards me. It seemed like he wanted me to get drowned too. In my panic, I hit him, and it knocked him back way further than I was expecting. Whoa, I must have knockback power on my attacks. Whoever I am, I must be someone strong. But the undead aren't that easy to beat. The drowned continued walking toward me. I really didn't want to risk getting dragged into the deep, so instead, I turned and ran off further down the beach. King of the Deep? That guy sounds like trouble, especially if he's in the business of wrecking boats and drowning people. Didn't have long to mull over the details. As I was making my way across the beach, I was suddenly attacked by a vicious husk who looked intent on doing me harm. This time, rather than try to fight, I decided to just run away. I had too few hearts to risk losing them like this. Eventually, I found a shady patch where I could sit down and rest for the night. Hopefully, nothing would attack me there. King of the Deep. I hope I don't run into that guy. On day 2, I got up and got to work. If I was a sailor, I knew that I needed to be practical and no nonsense. It was time to get out there and make myself some tools. It didn't take me long to find a good clutch of palm trees on the beach, which I used my powerful punches to knock them down and turn the wood into a basic wooden pickaxe. I used my wooden pickaxe to mine enough stone for my first set of stone gear. A stone sword, axe, pickaxe, and shovel. Not a bad start. While exploring the beach, I came upon a stranded toolsmith. Somehow, he looked strangely familiar, so I approached him.
Zozo, so good to see you. I was worried for a while that I was the only one who survived the wreck. Those tides were brutal.
Oh, so this must have been one of my fellow sailors. Truth be told, I don't remember much of what happened.
That's not surprising. I think I remember seeing you take a nasty bump to the head while we were all scrambling around. That's probably why your recollection is a bit fuzzy.
Explains a lot. I'm starving too. Do you have any food?
Sure, take some of these rations.
He gave me some food, which I quickly ate to replenish my hunger bar. Finally, things were looking up for me. Do you know anything about this King of the Deep guy? His goons are already giving me trouble, and I figure he's got something to do with the big crash.
Your guess is as good as mine, pal. But if you do find him, give him one in the face for me.
On day 3, I went off in search of a decent place to build myself a basic base. I've always wanted a beachside property. I just never expected it to happen under such weird circumstances. I cut down some more palm trees and started building myself a nice wooden shack on the beach. It wasn't very defensible yet, but at this stage, I really only needed somewhere cozy to get myself out from under the beach's blistering hot sun. I took a break for a while and looked out over the vast ocean. The ocean that I somehow knew covered most of the planet. And somewhere out there in all that water, the King of the Deep was waiting. I need to get off this planet as soon as possible before things get dangerous. And as if on cue, a vicious Vex emerged in the distance and came running at me. In sheer panic, I pulled out my stone sword and fought for my life. By the time the fight was done, only I remained. The battle with the Vex gave me enough XP to level up and get bigger and stronger. With 15 hearts and a new enchantment, the Frostwalker, which lets me walk on water by freezing it under my feet. At least I can handle myself. That's a plus in this crazy ocean world. For the rest of the day, I worked on my beachside shack. At least one part of this new situation could be nice and relaxing. From day 4 to day 5, I continued gathering materials to expand my shack. There were thankfully a decent number of trees that I could cut down for wood. I'd just finished collecting a bunch of wood when suddenly I saw a hauntingly familiar sight. It was the drowned I'd seen early on, walking right towards me. Oh no, not you again!
Do you fear the water, Zozo? If you do, then I'm sorry to say, you may be on the wrong planet.
You don't have to tell me that!
The king awaits your attendance, Zozo. You shouldn't be afraid. Things are much better down where it's wetter. I'll take you to him.
The drowned advanced towards me, but this time I was going to finish it. I pulled out my stone sword and attacked the drowned relentlessly, each one of my strikes doing bonus knockback damage. Soon enough, the drowned was defeated and destroyed. King of the Deep wants an audience with me? He better come and talk to me himself. And with that, I returned to my base. From day 6 to day 8, I managed to find a rare above-water cave. It was exactly the kind of thing I needed to upgrade my gear, in case I ended up encountering any bigger threats. While down in the cave, I decided to construct a furnace. It seemed like a wiser choice than having it out there in the open. The deeper I went into the cave, the darker and colder it got. That's when I came across a vein of iron ore in the ground and mined it. I returned to the furnace straight after and started smelting. Soon enough, I had an iron sword and an iron pickaxe on my hands. I also made myself some iron boots and an anvil. Now I can enchant my boots with frostwalking. This is more like it. It feels good to finally be properly equipped. Couldn't have done it at a better time because a zombified piglin immediately rampaged through the cave towards me. Luckily, with my iron sword, it wasn't difficult to deal with the zombified piglin and move on, feeling more confident than ever. From day 9 to day 10, I decided I needed some stone, so I ventured out across the Dead Sea, where there were huge stone structures. This will be the perfect place to mine some consequence-free stone for expanding my base without tearing up the whole beach. With my Frostwalker powers, I walked across the surface of the sea, and I used my iron pickaxe to start cutting stone from the structures. I collected a fair bit of stone when I turned to start heading back, but I suddenly got a terrible feeling. And the reason for that terrible feeling became obvious when I saw a terrifying water elemental rising from the water. Oh no, I think I know who you are.
Yes, I'm glad that you recognize my energy, dear Zozo, as I recognize yours. I am His Highness, the King of the Deep. You almost came to stay with me, you know, but you rejected my gift. How very ungrateful of you.
You're lying. You're a liar. I know that nothing good awaits me down there in the deep. I reject your offer. I ran forward and struck him with the sword. It did nothing. He wasn't harmed in the slightest. I struck again and again. Nothing. I knew that if I was there for a second longer, he might have dragged me down. I got into the boat as fast as I could and rowed until the King of the Deep was gone, and I was back on the safe, dry shore. Yeah, I really don't like that guy. That much is now officially confirmed. I turned and saw something charging across the shore towards me. A huge mutated bee. For a second, I panicked, but before I could attack, it started to speak.
Zozo, thank goodness, you survived the shipwreck.
I'm sorry, who are you?
You don't remember me? I'm First Mate Benson. We're good friends. You really must have hit your head hard during the wreck.
Yeah, I've heard that much. Say, why don't you come back to my base with me? I need to get a better sense of what we're up against here.
You've got a base? Sweet, let's go!
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with Benson. Seeing as my base wasn't that big yet, I decided I needed to make it bigger. I started from scratch and built a newer, bigger version of my home. I also built Benson a whole new room, which thankfully wasn't that difficult with all the resources I'd been collecting. Take a load off, Benson. I've got an important errand to run.
Sure thing, Zozo. Let me know if you need anything. Oh, and take this bow and arrows. You might need it.
Benson gave me a bow. Benson, I'm sure this will come in handy. I left back into that same mining cave I'd visited all that time before. I searched until I found another rich vein of iron ore. I mined enough and started heading back toward the cave furnace I'd built above, when I saw something frightening, a skeleton jackal wandering through the cave. I'm really lucky that Benson gave me that bow. Trying to stay as quiet as possible, I pulled out the bow and unleashed a volley onto the skeleton jackal. It was defeated before it even knew I was there. Phew, that was a close one. I then proceeded to the furnace and smelted myself some more protection in the form of an iron chestplate, leggings, and a helmet. It never hurts to have some extra defense when you're going against a strong foe. From day 13 to day 15, Benson and I made a campfire outside the base and decided to spend the night standing out on the beach, watching the ocean and discussing our plans for the future. This isn't going to be easy, Benson. I faced this King of the Deep directly, and nothing I did could even hurt him. How did he get us down here in the first place?
Well, it was our ship, you see.
Right, yeah. We were sailing and then it crashed. I know that much.
No, Zozo, it wasn't that kind of ship. It was a spaceship. We were flying through the sector, then suddenly the spaceship got a strange signal from this planet. The captain got obsessed with it, insisted on taking us down here. But when we entered the atmosphere, the captain drove the ship straight down into the water, like he was in a trance. I think the King of the Deep, he took over his mind with the signal. He's the reason we're all here.
Great, so he's even more powerful and dangerous than I'd thought. If he could take down our whole ship with his thoughts, then I don't know how we're gonna have any hope of beating him.
I don't think we have a choice, Zozo. We've just gotta try, come what may.
From day 16 to day 19, I woke up with the base feeling eerily quiet. I checked Benson's room, only to find that he wasn't there. But he left a note. It read,
Zozo, I've headed out to the deep frozen ocean. I think there might be some valuable secrets there.
And if there really were valuable secrets out there, I didn't want Benson to have to face them alone. I immediately went out and headed for the deep frozen ocean. Thankfully, because the water had already frozen over, I didn't even need my enchantment here. I just walked around, looking for Benson, when suddenly, an angry-looking zombie spoiner jumped out.
Well, you finally arrived. I suppose you're looking for your buzzy friend.
What did you do to him?
I gave him a nice little nap under the ice. It's very refreshing down there.
You monster! I'll break him out!
There's no escape for you or him. This is what happens to those who defy the king of the deep.
The zombie spoiler attacked me, but I had no time for his ridiculousness today. I ran in with my iron sword and destroyed him as quickly as I could. My true priority was saving Benson. As I walked, I saw something under the ice. It was Benson. I took my iron pickaxe and smashed some of the ice over the water. That's when Benson, thankfully alive, floated up and jumped out of the water.
Zozo, you saved my life. How could I ever repay you?
By staying alive and staying safe from now on. Head back to the base. I'm gonna look around for a while longer.
Will do, Zozo.
Benson left, and I continued my search across the icy surface of the deep frozen ocean. During my search, I encountered a few husks that were easy enough to dispatch, but didn't find any useful information. Just when I was about to give up, though, a strange figure emerged. It was the King Pig.
You seek to defeat the king of the deep.
What? How did you…
I know many things, my son. If you wish to defeat the king, you will need to obtain the Shield of the Deep. It is the only way.
But how can I find…
Some answers you must discover for yourself. Good luck on your quest, Zozo.
Before I could say another word, the King Pig disappeared just as quickly and strangely as he'd arrived. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my base, only to see a couple of husks wandering across the beach, looking for new victims. This beach has a major husk problem. I guess it's up to me to solve it. I used my bow to pick the husks off from a distance without the risk of engaging directly. I didn't want to risk losing any more hearts without a good reason. Once the husks were gone, I returned to my base and found First Mate Benson waiting for me.
Zozo! Zozo! I have some good news for you. While you were gone, I've been working on a statue. Something that I figured would motivate us to do our best, you know? You always said that motivation is extremely important.
A statue, huh? I'll go take a look at it. Be right back. I went to investigate behind my base and saw that Benson had made some amazing progress on the statue already. It was truly a sight to see. I'm feeling more inspired already. Can you guess what the statue is gonna be yet? If you can, tell me down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want more Minecraft adventures from Zozo. From day 23 to day 26, I was hanging out at my base when suddenly a group of nasty-looking drowned approached me. The rest of the group stood back while one stepped forward to talk to me.
The king of the deep awaits your visit. He grows impatient, Zozo.
Well, he should come up here and tell me that himself. Get away from my base.
Why waste your time up on the land? Water is inevitable. The tide washes away all eventually. Why not just give up? Let the ocean current carry you down to your fate.
Stop saying creepy stuff. I'm getting sick of it. I pulled out my bow and fired at the drowned, taking them out one by one. It took a little while, but luckily with my bow, I was able to attack them without getting too close. The last thing I wanted was for them to grab me and drag me down into the water. When all the drowned were defeated, I noticed that one of them dropped something. I went to get a closer look, and it was spears. Wow, these will be great for fighting if anyone else attacks me. Now I've got to test them out. To try out my new spears, I headed out to the Dead Sea in search of some mobs I could fight. I didn't find any, but I did practice throwing my spears anyway, and I got pretty good at it. While I was practicing, a fisherman came up to me.
Are you Zozo?
I sure am. Wait, you're not with the King of the Deep, are you?
No, matey. I'm trying to hide from him. He wants me brought in as a prisoner. Do you know a safe place where I could stay?
I sure do. I brought the fisherman back to my base with me, and I built him a room so he'd have a comfortable place to sleep.
Thank you. What a lovely room. Quite cozy, but I will not complain. Having a safe space to live means a lot.
No problem. Hope you'll enjoy your stay. From day 27 to day 31, I started trying to figure out where I could find the Shield of the Deep. Hey fisherman, have you ever heard of the Shield of the Deep?
Shield of the Deep? Oh, Zozo, my lad, I've heard tell of that very shield. Legend has it, the shield is found in the darkest, coldest part of the ocean, far from the sun's light or the eyes of man.
So like the deep frozen ocean then?
Aye.
Cool, I guess I'll go check it out. I traveled to the deep frozen ocean and looked for any signs of the shield. Brr, frozen is right. I tried to keep walking, but a piglin brute was blocking my path. Hey, excuse me, just trying to get by.
If the shield you wish to see, then you will have to go through me.
Well, okay, if you insist. I battled the piglin brute and managed to knock him down. I didn't destroy him, but I bought myself enough time to run by and get away. From day 32 to day 35, I kept wandering through the deep frozen ocean. As I explored, I spotted a sea serpent taking a nap. I didn't want to wake him up, but there wasn't anyone else to ask. Sorry to bother you, but do you know where I can find the Shield of the Deep?
Huh? No, sorry. I don't know her.
No, it's not a person. A shield. Like, a shield for fighting?
Shield? No, still don't know it.
That's okay. I'll keep looking. I left the sea serpent and carried on exploring the area.
Looking for something, Zozo?
The King of the Deep suddenly appeared. I tried to fight the King of the Deep, but he was still way too strong. If I try to keep this up, there's no way I'll make it. All I could do was turn and run until the king was out of sight. On the way, I ran into the sea serpent again.
Was that the King of the Deep? We both need to get out of here. Follow me.
With that, I ran off as the sea serpent slithered with me.
Can I stay with you for a while, though? Now that guy knows where I live, I'm scared he'll come back.
Sure, come back to my base. From day 36 to day 39, the sea serpent and I headed back to the base. Once we were there, I built a room for him to stay in. After I finished, he came to talk to me.
Wait a second. Did you ask me something about the Shield of the Deep? I remember it now. I was pretty sleepy before. My memory wasn't great. But my grandma used to talk about some kind of special shield. I think it may be the one that you're looking for. There's a clue waiting in the frozen ocean. That's what Mima always used to say.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
No problem. Oh, also, I saw that statue you've got going on. I added a bit to it. Can you take a look and make sure I got it right?
I followed the sea serpent to the statue, and it was really starting to look great. You did an awesome job. From day 40 to day 43, I wanted to find a way to upgrade my weapons and armor. I decided to ask the fisherman for some advice. Any idea where I can find some upgrades?
Zozo, me boy, you came to the right place. I've learned more about upgrades than there are fish in the sea, and thankfully for my job security, that's a lot. You can find some upgrade materials in yonder cave.
Well, I don't know what a yonder is, but I do know of a cave. Thanks. I headed to the cave, but the entrance was blocked by a gorgon. I had to think fast to take it down, but with the use of my spears, I was able to defeat it. Inside the cave, I found diamonds. Tons of them. Perfect, that fisherman was right. I took the diamonds back to my base and used them to craft a diamond pickaxe and a diamond sword. Now I feel like I'm ready for just about anything. From day 44 to day 49, I took my new diamond weapons and headed to the frozen ocean. Let's see if I can find that clue Mima Sea Serpent was talking about. As I was walking, I was ambushed by a Dread Knight. He was really strong, but my diamond sword was stronger. With some careful dodging and a few swipes of my sword, I managed to beat him. But before I could get back to looking for clues, I heard a voice.
Help! Someone help!
I followed the sound and saw a black hippogriff surrounded by husks. Oh no, I'll save you! I rushed at the husks and slayed them one by one with my trusty diamond sword.
Thank you, stranger! I thought I for sure was a goner!
I'm Zozo. There, I'm not a stranger anymore.
I'm Hilly the hippogriff. What brings you to these parts?
I'm looking for the Shield of the Deep.
Oh goodness, are you trying to take on the King of the Deep? Legend has it's the only shield that can protect against him.
I am.
I may have an idea of how to find it. There's a wise old ice dragon nearby. He can point us in the right direction.
From day 50 to day 53, I followed Hilly to the domain of the ice dragon. As we traveled there, the piglin brute from before jumped in front of us.
So, it appears we meet again. It's time for you to meet your end.
Geez, not this guy. But this time, with my new upgraded sword, I was strong enough to defeat him for good. Let's find that dragon. We explored for a while and then came to a house with an old ice dragon sitting out in front.
Oh, visitors. Don't get many visitors these days.
Hi, I'm Zozo. I heard you might know where I can find the Shield of the Deep.
Oh, yes, the shield. Well, last I heard, it was being hoarded by a mutant hoglin. Really mean fellow. I'm not sure where he's keeping it, though.
Mutant hoglin? That's more than I knew before. Thanks for your help. From day 54 to day 57, I returned to my base to figure out what to do next. When I got there, I saw my friends had been adding onto it while I was gone. They added some guard towers, some shelves, and some banners. This place looks great. The guard tower will keep us safe, the barrels add storage, and the banners look so cool. Thanks, everyone.
No trouble at all.
While I was checking everything out, the mutated bee came up to me.
Zozo, can you help me destroy the Dread Scuttler? She's causing so much turmoil and trouble, and I'm scared she won't stop unless a hero stops her for good.
I'm on it. The Dread Scuttler was pretty close by, so it didn't take me long to find her. Luckily for me, she didn't stand much of a chance against my spear. After I was done, I went back to the base. She won't bother anyone anymore.
Thank you. I made this for you while you were gone, as a thanks.
Wow, a diamond helmet. This will go great with my sword. Thank you. From day 58 to day 62, I was woken up by the mutated bead.
Zozo, sorry to wake you, but come look. We've been working on the statue.
I followed the bead to check out the progress everyone had made. This looks great. I can't wait to see it when it's done. While I was checking out the statue, I heard a noise behind me. I turned around, and there was a huge swarm of drowned surrounding my base. Oh no, get out of here!
Not until you join us, until you take your rightful place. No use fighting the tide, Zozo.
No! I fought the drowned one by one, but there were so many of them. Before I could stop them, they knocked the fisherman to the ground. I defeated the rest of the drowned, but it was too late. The fisherman was gone. I won't let them get away with this! From day 63 to day 66, I returned to the frozen ocean. I'm more determined than ever. They hurt my friend. This is personal now. Well, even more personal than it was before. As I was exploring, I stumbled on a book. Hey, Book of Maritime History. I wonder what that means. I opened the book and started to read. It says the Shield of the Deep is hidden on the beach. That must be where the mutant Hoglin took it. As I was reading, a drowned snuck up behind me and attacked me. But I was quick, and I got my sword ready and fought back. Pretty soon, he was toast, and I was ready to continue my search. From day 67 to day 70, I traveled to the beach to look for the Shield of the Deep. Oh hey, I recognize this place. I've got a pretty good feeling about this.
Who goes there?
Uh-oh, I forgot about the mutant Hoglin. He was huge, and he looked really strong. But if I wanted to get that shield, I had no choice but to fight him. Any chance you'll let me go by and get that shield?
Nope. Draw your sword and battle me.
So I did. Jeez, he's really tough. I'm not sure I'll be able to beat him. I fell back until I could barely see the beast in the distance. To my surprise, a drowned ran up, but he didn't attack.
Be not afraid. I'm not here for you this time, Zozo. I'm here to destroy this worthless Hoglin.
What?
We both have an interest in retrieving the shield.
I stood back out of the way as the drowned fought the mutant Hoglin. Eventually, the Hoglin picked up the shield and ran away as the drowned chased after him. Well, that was interesting. From day 71 to day 74, I headed to the mutant Hoglin's beach base to find that shield. But when I got there, I didn't see anything except for a note on the ground. Hey, what's this say? I picked it up. It says, "Foolish little Zozo, you can't outmaneuver the King of the Deep. The shield is mine, and you will never get your filthy surface-dwelling hands on it. That's so rude, not to mention evil." I left the base. From day 75 to day 78, I headed back to my base to come up with a new plan. If I can't get the shield, what am I gonna do? When I got back to the base, I saw my friends waiting for me. Boy, am I glad to see you. The sea serpent approached me.
We made some improvements. Check it out. We added an armory.
And then Private Benson came over.
And I made us a lowrider pool.
That's a nice ride. Really awesome. Thank you guys. But it wasn't just friendly faces, sadly.
Come out and face me, Vandal!
The mutant Hoglin had followed me home. This time, I have to defeat him. I drew my sword and attacked. It was a pretty close call, but after a hard fight, I was finally able to beat him. I felt myself getting stronger. My hearts increased to 40, and I gained an ability, an ice blast that fired freezing blasts at my enemies. This is awesome. Hey, look at this. There was a note that the mutant Hoglin dropped. It says Dead Sea. I'll go check it out. From day 79 to day 84, I traveled to the Dead Sea to look for anything important that I didn't notice the first time. Let's see what I can find. As I was looking around, I spotted an ice dragon. Hi, are you the same ice dragon I met before?
Don't think so. I've never seen you. But is there any chance you're here looking for a way to defeat the King of the Deep?
I am.
Me too. Let's work together. I've heard he's got a base somewhere on the beach, but I need help finding a map to it. Come with me.
Okay. I joined the new ice dragon in exploring, but I wasn't sure what we were looking for. I walked ahead of him when I suddenly heard a noise behind me. I turned and saw the ice dragon getting ready to attack me. Hey, what gives?
I tricked you. I'm working with the King of the Deep, you fool.
Oh no! What he didn't count on was my new strength and my Ice Blast. Before long, I was able to defeat him. Can't believe that guy tried to trick me, but at least I have some more information. From day 85 to day 89, I decided to go back and visit the Black Hippogriff and see if he had any more helpful information for me. When I reached the frozen ocean, I headed to his house. Hi again!
Zozo, welcome back. How's the quest to defeat the King of the Deep going?
Well, I've been trying to get the Shield of the Deep, but he got to it first. Now I don't know what to do.
Oh no! Well, I might have an idea for you on how you can get it back. The King of the Deep is a water elemental, so he's vulnerable to ice attacks. If you have any way to freeze him, that could slow him down long enough for you to steal the shield back.
Wait, I have Ice Blast. That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Happy to help. Good luck, Zozo.
From day 90 to day 94, I decided to gather some materials to upgrade my gear before I finally went to confront the King of the Deep. So I headed back to the cave to see what else I could find. Oh hey, a chest! I wonder what's in here. I opened the chest, and it contained a netherite ingot. Whoa, this stuff is pretty rare. I gathered up the netherite ingot and approached the smithing table next to the chest. I added the ingot to my diamond sword to create a netherite sword. This is amazing! If I can get my hands on the shield, I'm sure I can use this to win! From day 95 to day 97, I took my new sword back to my base. When I got there, my friends were waiting for me. Check out my new sword.
That's great! We have something to show you, too. The statue is almost done, but we wanted you to put in the last 2 pieces.
I followed them to the almost finished statue. Private Benson gave me the last 2 gold blocks to put into place. When I was done, I took a step back and got a good look at it. Wow, it's King Neptune! This is amazing! Looking up at this statue of the real King of the Ocean, not that bully of a water elemental, it reminds me what I'm fighting for. Thank you so much for building it. On day 98, I was preparing to head out and finally face the King of the Deep for our final battle. As I was getting ready, the mutated bee came to talk to me.
Zozo, I've been thinking. I want to come help you with this fight. You shouldn't have to face the king alone.
Are you sure? It's gonna be dangerous.
What's life without a little danger? It'll be worth it.
Thank you. On the way out of the base, I ran into the sea serpent again.
I'll be here waiting for you guys when you get back. I know you'll win. You're a hero, Zozo. You're always having amazing adventures on this channel, and if you want to see more of Zozo's adventures in Minecraft, make sure to subscribe.
Thank you, that really means a lot. On day 99, the mutated bee and I traveled to the King of the Deep's base on the beach. There were a lot of husks guarding the entrance, but the mutated bee kept them busy while I ran inside. There were more husks inside the base, but I was ready for them. I blasted them with my Ice Blast and fought them with my netherite sword. Gotta keep going and find that shield. It must be in here somewhere. On day 100, I continued fighting my way into the King of the Deep's base. I fought the husks on the walls, and after defeating them, my hearts increased to 80, and I gained the Energy Blast ability. Great, now all I need is that shield.
You mean this shield?
I turned around and saw the shield, but it was being guarded by a big, powerful drowned. Hand that shield over.
Never! It belongs to the king now, as all things soon will. The oceans will rise and claim the land, and all who walk upon its shores.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I fired an energy blast at the drowned, then followed it with a blast from my Ice Blast, and finished him off with my sword. Finally, the Shield of the Deep! I'm ready! I grabbed the shield and made my way down to the king's throne room. I opened the door, and he was there waiting for me. Before I could attack, he started to transform. He grew bigger and stronger, evolving into a much more powerful version of himself. You don't scare me!
No? Well, I should. Your defeat shall be swift.
I fired my Ice Blast at the King of the Deep, freezing him long enough for me to attack with my sword. He knocked me back with a hard hit, but the shield protected me from the damage, as well as giving him a harming effect from the spikes. We continued fighting for a while. I used all the abilities I had. The Energy Blast, my shield, the Ice Blast. After a lot of fighting, I felt a surge of power, and my hearts increased to 100, and I felt myself getting stronger. I knew I could beat him. I shot my Ice Blast, trapping him, and with one more swipe of my sword, defeated him! Time to wave goodbye to the King of the Deep. Get it? Wave? Like the ocean? On day 1, I spawned into the Sika Woods as an adorable little fire rabbit. I may just be a wascally wabbit, but if you mess with me, that doesn't mean you won't get burned. I decided to hop through the woods and explore, hoping I wouldn't accidentally set anything on fire with my burning bunny body. At least I know I'll never get cold. I wanted to stay optimistic, but it got a lot harder when a big, scary bug came crawling out of the forest behind me. It was a Myrmex soldier.
Halt! By order of Her Majesty, the Myrmex Queen. What is your business here?
Don't worry, sir. I was just looking around. I spawned nearby. I can just leave if you want.
Not so fast. We've been told to keep a lookout for suspicious rabbits, and you're both suspicious and a rabbit. Come with me.
But what if I don't want to come with you?
Then I'll just have to take you by force.
I didn't like the idea of being taken by force, so I turned and hopped away as quickly as I could. I may have not had any weapons, but at least I was extremely fast. I'm just a baby fire rabbit for now, with only 10 hearts, but if I can get away from these creepy crawlies, I'll be able to get bigger and stronger. But my little self-pep talk was interrupted by another Myrmex soldier popping out from behind a tree and stopping me in my tracks.
Don't you know it's rabbit season, silly bunny? Us Myrmex soldiers are everywhere in the Sika Woods. You better come with me, or someone, somewhere, is going to enjoy a bowl of rabbit soup tonight.
That was clearly a threat, so I decided to play along and follow him so I could save my fire rabbit skin. On day 2, the Myrmex soldier pushed me all the way to a weird, bee-like looking hive base on the edge of the woods. Not the kind of place where I'd typically like to spend my day. What is this place?
This is the hive, you misbehaving little rabbit. This is where me and my fellow Myrmexes live with our wonderful queen. She's currently in a different biome on royal business, but when she returns, she'll question you personally.
How long will that take, though?
It will take as long as it takes. Do not question the judgment of our beloved queen.
He didn't talk to me much after that. I was taken to some kind of holding cell in the hive and pushed inside to wait for the return of the queen. But she could be gone for weeks. I don't want to be trapped in here for all that time.
You're telling me?
I turned and saw a pink pixie fluttering around the cell, looking bored.
I'm Paris, the pink pixie. I feel like I've been trapped in here forever. I was just flying through the Sika Woods, minding my own business, when those Myrmex goons grabbed me and dragged me in here for being suspicious.
Sorry for making assumptions here, but can't you use your pink pixie magic to get us out of here?
Nope, these walls are magic-proof.
But are they fireproof? I walked closer to the wooden fence gates until they caught fire and the blocks started breaking. Soon enough, we were free. As we escaped, a Myrmex soldier almost caught us, but we managed to get out of there.
Thank you for freeing me, Zozo. I'm going to go see my family. They're probably worried about me, but I hope we meet again someday.
I hope that too, Paris. Safe travels. Paris left, and I decided to get out of the Sika Woods before more Myrmexes were sent after me. On day 3, I found my way into the meadow, where I figured that no Myrmex soldier could ever find me. Man, escaping that hive was hungry work though. I wonder if there's some food around here that's perfect for a little fire rabbit like me. Not long after, I found a patch of carrots. Perfect! I dug them up and ate them, feeling my hunger bar replenish. It made me feel a whole lot better. Until another, bigger rabbit hopped over to me, and he didn't seem pleased.
Hey, those are my carrots you just ate. They were prized, award-winning, and you just ate them without even asking me. Do you have any idea how messed up that is?
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were yours. I never would have eaten them if I did.
You think that makes me feel better? I'm still down a bunch of carrots. We rabbits should stick together, not steal from each other.
Is there any way I could make it up to you in the name of rabbit solidarity?
Well, there are a few favors you could do for me. Follow me. I'll figure out a way for you to pay off your debts.
Thank you so much for your forgiveness. I'm Zozo, by the way.
I'm KR. Let's go.
And I followed KR, eager to get back into his good graces. From day 4 to day 5, KR escorted me back to his base in the meadow. He must have been pretty brave to live out here, in the middle of nowhere.
This is my place. Don't tell anyone about this place under any circumstances.
Why?
Because I like my privacy. Don't ask too many questions. It's not a likable quality.
Inside the base, he explained to me exactly how I could repay him for eating his special carrots.
As you know, the world is hard for little rabbits like us. People think they can pick on us, look down on us, and I've seen too much of that throughout my life. I've kept a list of the kind of people who have made my life harder over the years. Rabbit haters, you know. Help me get through my list, and not only will you be happier, you'll have repaid your debt.
That sounds like something I could do. Where should I start, KR?
You can start by getting out of here and making your own base. It'd be dangerous for us to be seen together. Take this stone sword and stone pickaxe and make something of yourself before you come back to me.
He gave me the tools, and I got out of there. The meadow gave me the creeps, so I decided I'd set up my base in the ebony woods instead. I used the pickaxe to mine some stone. I made myself an axe and cut down some trees for wood. I found a nice clearing in the forest and built myself a basic base where I could at least sleep with a roof over my head for the night. But when I was done building, I got my first unwelcome visitor, one of the Myrmex soldiers who had captured me earlier. There you are! I knew you were the killer rabbit, and now I'm gonna put you down. Killer rabbit? What? That's not me. I'm not gonna listen to your lies. Time to battle, you bad bunny. He seemed strong, and as I was, I felt like I couldn't beat him. I summoned up my strength and leveled up. I got bigger, stronger. I now had 20 hearts and a new ability, the Fireball attack. And with one blast of that fireball, the Myrmex soldier was gone. I really am living up to the Fire Rabbit name. From day 6 to day 8, I was exploring the Ebony Woods a little further. It was a strange and magical place, made even more magical by a sudden reappearance, Paris, the pink pixie. I immediately hopped over to meet her. Hey, Paris, is everything okay?
I wish I could say it was Zozo, but no, something terrible happened. I went to see my family, but they were all gone, and their home was destroyed. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, Paris, that's terrible. Do you want to stay at my base? I can help you in your time of need.
Thank you, Zozo, but right now, I need to be alone. We'll speak again soon. Be safe out there.
Paris the pink pixie left. I felt terrible for her and started to wonder if maybe the ones who'd destroyed Paris's family were the same ones that KR warned me about. Maybe it was time to begin my quest. I returned to KR's base in the meadow and asked him what I should do first to complete my mission.
Your first target is the hairy troll further into the meadow. He's a violent, dangerous individual, so you should take him out with extreme prejudice.
Do you think he could have been behind the destruction of the pink pixie family?
What? How do you know about that?
I know the survivor.
There's a strong possibility. But don't ask him about it when you meet him. Just destroy him. He'll try to deceive you.
From day 9 to day 10, I followed KR's instructions and went further out into the meadow. Wow, this is vast and empty. But I pressed on. I needed to avenge Paris and repay my carrot debt to KR. There was no backing out now. Suddenly, the hairy troll jumped out and ambushed me, ready to attack.
I knew he'd send someone after me. Of course he'd be too cowardly to go after me himself. Pathetic.
Cowardly? No. What's cowardly is destroying a whole family of pink pixies rather than picking on someone your own size. I'm just doing a favor for a friend.
You have terrible taste in friends. I've never hurt any pink pixies.
He told me you'd lie. Let's battle. The hairy troll was a tough enemy, but with my sword and fireballs, I was able to defeat him in the end. Shortly after his defeat, a wolf woman came out of the forest.
Wow, you really fried that troll. I had no idea anyone could do those awesome fire tricks.
Thanks. I don't like hurting people, but I needed to stop him from ever hurting anyone, like he hurt the pink pixie family.
Oh, the pink pixie family. I heard about that. It was terrible. But I don't think a troll was behind that. It was some kind of other creature.
So the attacker is still at large? Oh no, I need to speak to KR about this. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to KR's base, telling him that I'd defeated the hairy troll, but that the one who'd attacked the pink pixie family was still out there somewhere.
If the hairy troll wasn't behind it, then it must be the thorn wolf, a truly dangerous and evil creature that lives deep in the ebony woods. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the thorn wolf was behind the pink pixie family attack.
Thorn wolf? Even the name sounds scary.
It's definitely a scary creature. I recommend getting better weapons and tools before you go to destroy it. Otherwise, you may find yourself at a disadvantage.
Good idea, KR. I'll get right on it. I found my way to a cave in the meadow and explored until I found some iron ore veins inside. I used some of my spare stone to make a furnace, then mined the iron ore and smelted it into ingots. Now time to do some crafting. I created an iron sword and an iron pickaxe, an iron chestplate, and then left the cave, where I ran into a creeper spider. Oh no! Rather than engaging, I ran away as quickly as I could. The creeper spider exploded behind me, leaving a huge crater in the ground. From day 13 to day 15, I ventured further into the ebony woods than I ever had before, my little fire rabbit heart filled with fear. If the thorn wolf really was as powerful and as dangerous as KR told me, then I could be in real danger even being around here. As I was exploring, I heard a sound behind me, so I turned and saw the thorn wolf. He was right there, and I was totally surprised. I braced myself for an attack, but he didn't attack. Instead, he spoke with a kindly voice.
Is everything okay, young rabbit? You seem nervous.
Are you the thorn wolf?
Oh, yes. It is my duty to patrol the ebony woods and protect the creatures there.
So you're not a bad guy?
Well, we always try our best, don't we? Stay safe out there, little rabbit.
The thorn wolf left, and I was confused. He was nothing like KR told me. Something really wasn't right here, and I needed to speak to KR immediately. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to the meadow to find KR's base, but it was empty, and KR was nowhere to be seen. This is strange. Maybe he's just out there running some errands. I returned to my base, only to find that Paris the pink pixie was there waiting for me. This couldn't have been a good sign. I knew that much. What's wrong, Paris?
Zozo, it's an emergency. I know who destroyed my family.
Who?
It was a creature they call the killer rabbit. It's one of the most dangerous things in the overworld.
Killer rabbit? KR. Oh no! And just like that, it all came together. KR was the killer rabbit, and he was behind everything. That meant I needed to get back to the thorn wolf as quickly as possible. He was in terrible danger. And I was right, and I didn't realize it soon enough. When I was there, thorn wolf was already gone, and only the killer rabbit remained.
I wondered how long it'd take you to figure it out. Oh well, you were at least a good tool for a while, even if you're useless to me now.
I don't get it. Why were you using me like that?
I needed a thaw rabbit, someone to take the heat for me. And who's better at taking heat than a fire rabbit? Besides, you really did eat my carrots, and I couldn't let that fly, could I?
You may have used me, killer rabbit, but now I'm gonna take you down. I fired a fireball at him, and it seemingly had no effect. And when he hit me, it was like being hit by a train. Everything went dark, and I was gone. From day 20 to day 22, I woke up, and the killer rabbit was gone. Instead, a mysterious figure was standing next to me, a large hippogriff.
Do you work for or with the killer rabbit? Answer quickly.
No, I only ever worked with him when he was tricking me. Now I know who he truly is. I'm 100% against him.
Good, then we have a common enemy. I am Laharl the Hippogriff, and I was a friend of the Thorn Wolf. We were defenders of the people, guardians of the forest. But now he's gone, and only I remain.
You're not alone. I want to be better. I'm Zozo. Let me become a guardian of the forest too. We're going to defeat the killer rabbit together. Come to my base with me, and we'll start to plan.
Agreed. We will defeat that monstrous creature and keep the people of the forest safe forevermore.
I went into the forest with a Laharl, and we gathered enough stone and wood to construct a new house for him to stay in. Together, we'd be stronger than we'd ever been before. From day 23 to day 26, I was hopping back through the Sika woods where I first spawned when I saw the pink glow of Paris the Pixie. Predictably, Paris the Pixie was in peril perpetuated by a pestering pursuer. Excuse me, so much alliteration.
Zozo, is that you? Help! This wind serpent is trying to blow me away!
The wind serpent did indeed look fierce, but even a gust of wind will only fan the flames of this fire rabbit. I hopped forward and hit the wind serpent with a fireball. The slithering mob stopped chasing Paris and started to fly towards me. We battled it out in melee, and I was able to bring it down with my sword.
Somehow I knew I could count on you, Zozo.
I'm just glad you still trust me. I attacked all the wrong people because of KR, and I let that menace run free all the while. That killer rabbit gives our kind a bad name.
You weren't the only one fooled by his goody-good act. Don't worry, Zozo. I know that you're out here trying to do the right thing.
Doing the best that I can, and I'll work with anyone else who is willing to help me take that lying killer down.
Count me in. My family got hurt because of his wicked ways. He won't be getting away with that.
Thanks, Paris. From day 27 to day 31, I found a flock of sheep wandering through the woods. They looked really tired, like they had been walking for several days. I hopped over to see what was going on and soon found out what had happened. These sheep were friends of the thorn wolf from the Ebony Woods, and since he was gone, they'd been looking for a new protector to save them from the killer rabbit. You'll be safe at my base, sheep. Not only is it back where you used to live, but I'll be your protector now. When I got back to my base in the Ebony Woods, I helped the sheep settle in and then went to go see how Laharl was holding up.
Welcome back, Zozo. I made the base cooler by adding some rat banners.
Wow, awesome work, Laharl. All the buildings at the base now had awesome rabbit banners on them, which suited me just fine. Meanwhile, over at the real Killer Rabbit's base, not the pretend base over in the meadow, he was now in the process of maniacally planning his next wicked plot from his evil lair.
Now, there may be a few people around who know that I'm the Killer Rabbit, but I think we can arrange some accidents for those individuals. What say you, my fine warden dragon friend?
If there's anyone who is good at causing accidents, it's me. They might as well call me Daisy. First name Oopsie, full name Oopsie Daisy. You just had an accident of the "you're not gonna be around anymore" kind.
We're really gonna need to work on your threatening lines there, Oopsie.
It's difficult. My evil boss is a rabbit. Sorry, boss.
You better wise up. I'm not just any rabbit. I'm a killer rabbit.
From day 32 to day 35, I remembered that one of the Myrmex soldiers that I had encountered said that they had been looking for suspicious rabbits. So I made the choice to go and seek out the hive of the Myrmex queen. It might be a rabbit, but I know what suspicious one they might be looking for. If I tell them who the killer rabbit is, maybe all the other rabbits will stop being captured like I was. I made it to the hive and found that it was guarded by Myrmex soldiers. I guess I should have expected that.
Halt and stay halted.
I'm not halting. I'm here to see the queen.
Like we'd fall for that one, rabbit.
The Myrmex soldier tried to fight me, but I dodged his attacks. I didn't want to hurt anybody while I was trying to make an alliance, so I shot a fireball away from them to let them know who I was. Look, I'm not the rabbit you're looking for. I've got fire powers.
Fire powers? But that means you're the one who broke out of the cell.
That is true, but only because I shouldn't have been there in the first place. I know which rabbit really did the crimes, so he should be the one who does the time.
Okay, we still have questions, but that rhyme convinced us to take you to the queen.
Yes, don't be mean. Let me see the queen.
You can stop rhyming now.
The Myrmex soldiers let me inside of the hive so that I could have my important meeting with the Myrmex queen. Naturally, the room where I was able to speak with the queen was her own throne room.
I am the Myrmex Queen. What is your request to my majesty, small rabbit?
It concerns the fate of all the land, your Myrmex queenliness. I know who the killer rabbit is.
You do? Oh, at long last, that monster has been found. How do you know about him?
He went by the name KR, and now he's on a new spree of attacks on innocent creatures all throughout the biomes.
He always was like that, even in my mother's time. She was the Myrmex Queen before me, and when the creatures of the woods started being attacked, she suspected everyone but the innocent-looking rabbit. It was her mistake, because the killer rabbit claimed her as another one of his victims. I had to take over the throne, just as my mother's killer went into hiding. I've been hunting him down ever since.
It's such a sad story. I promise to help you bring the killer rabbit to justice with all the fire in my heart.
There is more, but it's far too painful to talk about. You should go home for now. I will send a soldier to visit once I've emotionally prepared myself.
From day 36 to day 39, I got ready to take my armor up a notch in defense by preparing to go back into the cave for some more iron ore. The killer rabbit was a lot older and more experienced than me, so I had to be all the more prepared for our eventual showdown. I soon found a spot in the cave where iron was abundant and mined away, adding the iron ore to my inventory. Next, I got out my crafting table and smelted the iron ore into the iron ingots I would need to craft the rest of my armor. That should do it. Alright, time to become an iron fire rabbit. I made myself an iron axe since I had been gathering so much wood lately, and an iron helmet, iron leggings, and a pair of iron boots to complete my full set of iron armor. You can't see it on my fur, but believe me, it's there. Now equipped with all this brand new iron gear, I ventured deeper in the cave and found that beneath the iron, there were a few diamonds to be mined. I made sure to get them before I left. Later on, I was back above ground when I got an unexpected visitor. He was half rabbit and half wolf. A rabbit wolf.
Hi there. Bet you never met nobody like me before.
Hey, you're right. Anyway, the Mermix Queen said I could leave the dungeon cell at the half if I went and brought you back to her. Let me guess, her soldiers locked you up because you were a suspicious rabbit? Well, yeah, I mean, look at me. I'm such a suspicious rabbit, it's hard to know if I'm even a rabbit. Anyway, you should go meet the Mermix Queen over in the Ebony Woods. From day 40 to day 43, I went to meet the Mermix Queen over in the Ebony Woods. Your queenliness, I am excited to work together and solve these crimes.
I knew the rabbit wolf wouldn't fail to bring you here. If you ever see him again, make sure to thank him for me.
I certainly will. So, are you ready to tell me more about the killer rabbit and his previous rampage?
Yes, it's time you knew everything about what happened with him.
Even though we had met in a secret location and were trying to keep our conversation quiet, Oopsie Daisy the Warden Dragon had super powerful hearing and was able to pick up on our voices from another part of the woods.
Oopsie daisy, time for an accident to happen. On purpose.
He barged into the clearing and fired a sonic laser blast at me, which did many hearts of damage. Hey, what's the big idea?
Nothing. I just happened to be totally unintentionally getting rid of two people who know who the killer rabbit is. By accident.
Haha! Now I know who you work for. You just said it was the killer rabbit.
Ah, darn it. I actually didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I'll just make you disappear. Then nobody will know.
He fired another sonic blast my way, which I almost avoided. I countered with a fireball that didn't seem to do much. I looked around for the Mermix Queen and saw that she had escaped while I had been talking to the Warden Dragon. Yeah, I should probably do the same thing. I ran off into the woods, trying to go a different direction so that the Warden Dragon wouldn't know who to follow. From day 44 to day 49, I had gotten away from the Warden Dragon and safely arrived back at my base. I never expected the Mermix Queen to be there as well, waiting to continue our conversation from where we left off. I was happy to see that she was okay and could fend for herself, even without her soldiers. I guess the killer rabbit knows we both know about him. That's why he sent that Warden Dragon to destroy us.
Perhaps he needs to rely on his henchmen now, because he isn't as strong as he used to be.
You mean that he used to be stronger? He totally demolished me the last time we fought.
Well, he still is the killer rabbit, but he used to carry around a secret rare battle axe that made it really easy for him to make anyone he wanted disappear forever.
He was a killer rabbit with a killer battle axe? That's so scary. How did you stop him?
I didn't. A mysterious mob known as a Crimson Phantom laid a curse upon the battle axe so that the killer rabbit could never use it again.
I know. Maybe if we find this battle axe, we could use it against him.
Didn't stop the killer rabbit from being evil, but it did weaken him.
Then I'm off to the meadow.
That's good thinking, Zozo. I heard that the battle axe was crafted deep down in the depths of the meadow. You can find some clues about it there.
From day 50 to day 53, I delved all the way to the end of the meadow in order to find out more information about who crafted the battle axe that the killer rabbit used in his previous reign of terror. After a lot of searching, I came across an abandoned workshop that looked like it was once used for smithing weapons. This must be the place, I reckon. I found a book near the crafting table that was titled Axe Maker's Notes and opened it up to read the words inside. I have made a lot of axes out of a lot of different materials in my day, and boy do I love doing it. It's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. In fact, it's the only thing I do. I'm the axe maker after all. But this latest axe, it's not like the other ones. It's got an evil aura around it, like it's too sharp and too scary just to be used on trees. This axe seems like it could kill someone. It's a killer axe. I better get rid of it before someone uses it for evil. Oh wait, what's that? Someone is coming. The sentence in the book ended there, and the rest of the pages were blank. Oh no, the killer rabbit must have snuck up behind the axe maker and gotten rid of him so he could steal the killer axe. What a fiend! Still, from what I'd read, the battle axe was a powerful weapon. It must be able to hurt the killer rabbit if he was willing to do so much to get it. I looked around for more clues, but couldn't find any, so I gave up and started to head back to my base. From day 54 to day 57, I was making my way through the meadow when I happened to pass by the area where I had found those carrots before. Didn't the killer rabbit say that those carrots were his? If I know rabbits, and I probably do because I am one, then that could mean that the killer rabbit's base might be around here too. I was excited that I had discovered a clue, but that excitement was quickly lost when the Warden Dragon showed up to blast me with a sonic laser attack.
Oops, pardon me. That time I was trying to get rid of you, and I accidentally didn't do enough damage.
You did enough, actually. You don't have to do any more damage.
No, I think I do. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do all the damage to you!
As much as I wanted to, I was still not strong enough to take down the warden dragon, so I made my escape as quickly as I could. Even though I didn't find it, I was right about the killer rabbit's base being nearby. The horrible hare was there right now, scheming up a storm.
Soon, yes, very soon, I will find a way to reverse the curse and take back my battle axe. All of them will pay then.
From day 58 to day 62, I had made it back to the base and saw that Laharl had created a storage room for all of our weapons. Great work, Laharl!
Thanks. I just figured since you were talking about a rare secret killer battle axe, I should make some room for it. One thing led to another, and now there's a whole room full of every other weapon we had.
There seems to be a lot of empty spaces. I guess I'll have to make us some more.
We could definitely use some diamond ones, since we don't have any yet.
Good point. I'll see if there are any more diamonds down in the mine. I went down to the mines, and it was just my luck. There were some more diamonds right in the same cavern where I had found the previous ones. I dug all around so that I could have enough for a diamond weapon to put in the weapon storage room. Once the diamonds were gathered, I chose to craft 2 diamond swords, one for myself and one for storage. I also crafted a diamond chestplate and a diamond pickaxe because diamonds make everything better. From day 63 to day 66, Laharl and I were hanging out in the base when our conversation suddenly turned serious.
When are we gonna do something about that killer rabbit, Zozo? He's starting to become a real problem for everyone.
I know, Laharl, but I can't even defeat the clumsy warden dragon he sent to make me disappear, much less the killer rabbit himself.
But if you had that secret rare killer battle axe, you might stand a chance.
But that's the trouble. I don't have that secret rare killer battle axe.
Not yet you don't, but I think I might know where it is.
Take me to it then. Don't you know how serious I am about wanting to stop the killer rabbit? Laharl listened to how serious I was and took me to the eroded Badlands where we found some cursed ruins. We walked up to them until we hit an invisible barrier. How did these ruins get so cursed?
A long time ago, the Crimson Phantom put a curse on these ruins that won't let anyone else enter.
The Crimson Phantom? Isn't that the same creature that cursed the battle axe?
Yes, but it looks like we need to get him to lift the curse before we can check to see if the battle axe is here.
From day 67 to day 70, the Mermex Queen came into the base and told me that she had also been searching for the Crimson Phantom.
He's been sighted in the Ebony Woods, but my guards weren't able to capture him. He's even taken a few down.
I didn't realize this Crimson Phantom was such a dangerous creature.
He sure is. I could really use your help bringing the Crimson Phantom in.
Then let's do it. You can count on me, your queenliness. We left my base and went through the woods to find the Crimson Phantom flying away after having just defeated one of the Mermex soldiers.
You'll never take me alive. I'm the dang old Crimson Phantom, you bunch of goofballs.
Knock it off, Crimson Phantom. We need your help.
Nah, who needs my help?
He attacked, so I had to blast him with fire. The Crimson Phantom was definitely strong based on the way he tanked my attack. So I whacked him a few times with my diamond sword. Please, don't fight! We just want to stop the killer rabbit, and we know that you do too. You put a curse on his battle axe so he couldn't hurt people with it.
So what if I did? It was probably the nicest thing I ever did for anyone.
It doesn't have to be if you help us again. Please, Crimson Phantom.
Ah, shucks. How can I say no to an innocent rabbit?
And just like that, I convinced the Crimson Phantom to help us retrieve the secret rare killer battle axe so we could defeat the killer rabbit. From day 71 to day 74, that pesky accident-prone warden dragon showed up at my base to try to get rid of me again.
Come on out and face me, Zozo. What's the worst that could happen? It will.
I hadn't gotten any stronger since we fought before, but my weapons and armor were a bit more durable, so I hopped out and decided to take him on. Take this, Daisy! Fireball! I circled around the warden dragon, shooting fireballs and trying to avoid his sonic blast. I wasn't fast enough, and my armor couldn't protect me. I took many hearts of damage. I got down to just half a heart. Oh no, is this how I'm gonna go out?
Apparently not, because instead of doing you in, I'm accidentally going to steal your best friend Laharl and completely not on purpose hold him hostage somewhere.
You monster! Why?
I don't know. I'm not sure why I do anything anymore, but I am evil.
The warden dragon dragged Laharl away, and there was nothing I could do about it because I was too weak. I can't do this! I'm just a rabbit! I went to the room to mope about it and close myself away from everyone else. I couldn't let them see me after such an embarrassing defeat. That was until the Crimson Phantom arrived.
Hey there, Zozo. Don't blame yourself for what happened. You'll get Laharl back.
Really think so, Crimson Phantom?
Of course I do. And once you do, you won't have to worry, because I've given your base some sweet defenses.
He wasn't kidding. The Crimson Phantom had made a wall around the base, which had a curse on it so it wouldn't allow any of my enemies to pass through. From day 75 to day 78, I learned more about the perimeter wall, like how it would only let people that I trusted into the base. The Myrmex Queen was definitely someone I knew I could trust. The perimeter wall let her right through. Greetings, your queenliness.
Zozo, there is one more thing I didn't tell you about the killer rabbit, but I'm going to tell you what that is now.
What is it, Myrmex Queen?
Your friend, Laharl, he kept this secret from you because he wanted to protect you. The truth is that the curses of the Crimson Phantom can be reversed by the feathers of a live hippogriff.
You mean that now the killer rabbit can…
Reverse the curse and reclaim his ultimate weapon, yes! You must go and rescue Laharl before the killer rabbit extracts his feathers.
I will. I think I know now where in the meadow his base is. The Myrmex Queen gave me some javelins to serve as a ranged weapon and wished me luck as I departed. From day 79 to day 84, I searched for the killer rabbit's base in the meadow. I knew that it had to be somewhere around where I had found that fateful carrot patch. Sure enough, Oopsie Daisy the Warden Dragon was wandering around in plain view of that area. He had taken Laharl captive earlier, and now he was going to tell me where he was. Hey you, give me back my friend.
Oops, you aren't supposed to find me.
Well, now I have, and I'm gonna scorch you. I rained fireballs and javelins down on him from a distance, but it still wasn't enough, and his sonic blast still hurt quite a bit.
What was I worried about? It's not like you could defeat me even if I accidentally let you.
I was beginning to think I was done for, and then Laharl swooped down from above and attacked the Warden Dragon while his sonic blasts were focused on me.
Oh no, I should have seen that coming, but I accidentally did not.
Laharl's attacks did enough damage to bring the Warden Dragon down and defeat him for good. After the Warden Dragon was defeated, I approached Laharl. Laharl, you're free.
I sure am, Zozo. That Warden Dragon accidentally let me go before we even got to the lair of the killer rabbit. I've just been down here in the meadow, trying not to get caught again.
At any rate, I'm glad you managed to get away. I was worried about you.
I found something else while I was down here. A golden apple that is said to imbue the one who eats it with true strength, as long as they are pure of heart. It's yours now, Zozo.
Gee, thanks! I'm starving! I ate the golden apple and could feel myself transform. I must have been pure of heart because I grew into a supersized fire rabbit and had a grand total of 60 hearts. My jump was given a big boost too, allowing me to reach higher heights than ever before. From day 85 to day 89, Laharl and I went back to the base where things were once again becoming super ultra serious all of a sudden.
Zozo, it is time. I'm gonna take you back to the eroded Badlands so we can get that battle axe.
But how are we going to bypass the curse? Oh wait, aren't your feathers the way to do it?
Yes, my feathers can make a magic key that will let you get through. I held off on telling you until I was sure that you were pure of heart. But now that I know you are, and that you won't become another killer rabbit once you get the battle axe, I can give you the key.
Laharl gave me a bunch of his hippogriff feathers, and I crafted them into a key.
Use the key at the ruin. It'll be like I am with you.
I did as my good friend Laharl said, and traveled back to the cursed ruins in the eroded Badlands. With the magic key, I was able to bypass the curse and enter the ruins. Inside, I found the battle axe, lying in wait for me to claim it. I'm gonna put the magic key that Laharl made away. It'd be pretty silly if I accidentally reversed the curse and made it so that the killer rabbit could use the killer axe. After I had safely stowed the key, I took the secret rare battle axe from its place and left the ruins. From day 90 to day 94, I stepped out of the ruins and found the killer rabbit standing out there to confront me in the eroded Badlands.
How do you do, fellow rabbit?
It's over, KR. I have the battle axe now, and you'll never break the curse on it.
That's the thing about you, Zozo. You always think you understand everything. That's why it's so easy to trick you.
Nuh-uh. This time I do understand everything. I understand that you are a ruthless monster who must be stopped before he hurts anyone else.
But think of what we could accomplish if you joined me. Nobody would disrespect us bunnies anymore. We would be the top of the woods.
I'll never join you, killer rabbit.
Suit yourself. By the way, I accidentally picked up some feathers that your hippogriff friend Laharl dropped down in the meadow.
That's not good. The killer rabbit leaped forth and wrestled with me for the axe. I was a strong rabbit, but he was still stronger. And before I could stop him, he reversed the curse on the axe and took it back. No, you tricked me. I thought I understood, but I didn't.
You're too naive. Now wallow here in this sand pit.
He jumped on the sand I was sitting on, and the impact of his landing made the sand collapse, so I fell into a deep hole. From day 95 to day 97, I used my boosted jumps to slowly but surely make my way back up to the surface of the eroded Badlands. There was no time to lose. Now that the killer rabbit had the super secret rare killer battle axe, he was going to go on his biggest spree of attacks yet. And I know who he's gonna go after first. I rushed back to the Sika Woods and entered the hive of the Mermex Queen. Her soldiers were destroyed, and that wasn't even the worst part. In her throne room, the Mermex Queen was dying after having just been attacked by the killer rabbit and his killer axe. No, your queenliness!
Zozo, so you made it.
I'm so sorry. I tried to stop him, but he tricked me once again. And now he's wiped out your entire hive.
Do not worry. As long as there is a Mermex Queen, the hive will be able to replenish itself. What you must do now is get the battle axe away from him at all costs.
I'll do it. Even if I have to risk everything, I will do it.
In a few days, my final egg will hatch and become the new queen. You need to protect her for me.
I will, your queenliness. She passed on, leaving me behind in the world that I must save. On day 98, I returned to my base in the Ebony Woods and found that the perimeter wall and the rest of the base was destroyed. Laharl was there, but nobody else had survived the attack.
He came for the Crimson Phantom, Zozo, to make sure that he was never cursed again. Now the battle axe is his forever.
Don't say that, Laharl. I know that you and I get serious sometimes, but we always keep on trying to make things better.
The only reason he left me alive is in case anyone else cursed the axe, so that I could reverse it.
So that killer rabbit only spared you for his own reasons. That makes me so mad.
He'll probably fool you again if you give in to your emotions.
Well, my emotions are pure right now, and every spark of fire in my being demands justice.
Then what the heck? Go get that battle axe. You're strong enough now. I can feel it.
Laharl cheered me on as I marched off through the woods. On day 99, I arrived in the meadow with a burning passion in my heart. I was ready to take down that killer rabbit with all my strength and all of my fire. Once I was inside his base, I came face to face with my nemesis once more.
You never learn, do you, Zozo? Like fire, you think you're bright, but when it rains, you go out.
The only reign I see now is your reign of terror, and it ends here.
A clever use of two words that sound alike, but you've forgotten already that I have the killer axe.
Actually, it is you who has forgotten. That battle axe was accidentally forged to be evil, but it was touched by a hero who was pure of heart. I jumped at him, and once more, we wrestled with the axe. This time, I managed to get it away from him and ran out of his base. The secret to the battle axe that I was finally able to understand was that it was cursed twice. Once I was back home, I used some more of Laharl's feathers I found in his base to undo the first curse that happened when it was made, turning it into a weapon of pure goodness and justice. Now, no evildoer could ever wield it. Only I could wield the battle axe. On day 100, I returned to the meadow with the new and improved super justified hero axe and faced off against the killer rabbit.
Why did you come back? I might have let you live for a while.
I had to. There's a whole world out there that needs to be protected from rotten rabbits like you. There is a young Mermex Queen who will hatch today. There is a hippogriff who is my best friend. For them, for everyone, my fires of good will burn out your evil. A killer rabbit hopped at me, but with the battle axe in my hand, my attacks were strong enough to take his hearts away.
Curse you, Zozo!
Haven't you got it yet? I can't be cursed. I blasted him with fireball after fireball, and then swung the battle axe down on him, ending the fight. There is a new rabbit in this land, and he's a protector rabbit.